4th down and 6. Olbridge gotta have it. Shotgun formation. Nugent, a lot of time. Rolls out. He's running out of space. Will roll the other way. They look, corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead. And the props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, makes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Motion man is Simmons. Trotman throwing towards Simmons down the field, and he makes the catch in traffic for a Bearcats touchdown.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Gracie comes set and delivers. And that's it on the ground to second. Throw to first, in time, and the ball game is over. South Shore survives a late scare, and they are the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball champions. Live from the Waranenko Sports Center in Roselle, New Jersey, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the American Arena League and Jersey Bearcats football. Tonight, the Bearcats look to make it back-to-back wins on their home turf as they take on the CNY Blue Devils. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, alongside my broadcast partner, Nicholas Bavona, and we are about 20 minutes away from opening kickoff here at Waranenko. And as always, we begin our broadcast by welcoming you in to the Brownstone Grill in Metuchen pregame show. And Nick, it has been a season filled with firsts for the Bearcats. Of course, the Bearcats made the move from the AAL2 to the AAL this year, and that move has come with mixed results in terms of wins and losses. When the Bearcats have won this year, they have won big. But for you and I, this season marks the first time that we've seen the Bearcats faced with the reality of going on the road in the first round of the playoffs. Tonight also sees this team face a first-time opponent in the CNY Blue Devils, an organization that can make quite the splash if they're able to pull off what many would consider to be a major upset here tonight.
Yeah, it certainly would be, Joe. And, first off, glad to be back here after, the thrilling conclusion to last year's season. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in today's broadcast. But you look at this game from the Bearcats' perspective, you mentioned the possibility of them missing an opportunity of hosting a playoff game here in Waranenko. For them to realistically do that, they would have to win out. They have 3 games remaining on the season, so you got to get an opportunity. And the way to do that is first build off of what you did a couple weeks ago against Tri-State. Be really tough to duplicate what they did in that game, but if you could do anything remotely close, that will give you a lot of momentum going into next week, which, as I mentioned, is a championship rematch from last season against Mississippi.
I know you and I are very much looking forward to that championship rematch next week, but the Bearcats can't afford to look past the Blue Devils here tonight. And as always, we like to start the night with a look at the AAL standings. You get a look at those standings up on the screen now. And Nick, the Bearcats remain in third following the postponement of their scheduled game against the Wheeling Miners last week. And they are effectively in a position where any chance of them hosting a playoff game will require them to win out. That being said, when we spoke to head coach A.J. Roquet following the game last week, he acknowledged the reality that working their way back into a top 2 position in the standings is something that simply may not happen for this team, and their focus remains on the task in front of them each week, one opponent at a time.
And that's the mentality you have to take into these games, Joe. You can't necessarily look ahead to these upcoming matchups. Of course, you have Mississippi. You also have a big matchup with Columbus as well coming up to end the regular season. But you have to focus on the task at hand. And tonight, that task at hand is these Blue Devils trying to come in and, as you mentioned, pull off. It would be maybe a big upset and would really upend this Bearcats opportunity. And not only getting a home playoff game, but it would really upend their opportunity to gain any type of traction and momentum going into the playoffs in just a couple weeks' time. So for the Bearcats cannot look ahead, have to focus on this opponent here tonight and try to make sure that they can come out with the victory.
And speaking of taking things one opponent at a time, let's learn a bit more about a Blue Devils team that visits Waranenko here tonight. Admittedly, detailed information was a bit difficult for us to find, and the lone video we were able to track down came in a game broadcast without a scoreboard, without commentary. But this organization is brand new and definitely carries the element of surprise into this matchup with the Bearcats here tonight.
Well, you see on your screen, based in Syracuse, New York, a member of the WIF, their first meeting with the Bearcats, and you got to go with the expect the unexpected in this game, Joe. You look at, not much tape you can really go off of going into this Blue Devils team, but for the Blue Devils, that could maybe be an advantage for them coming into the night for against this Bearcats team. So I think if you're both sides for the Blue Devils, make sure you can try and maybe upend this Bears team. And we'll talk about this later on. I did get a chance to talk to AJ Roque. They have not played, keep in mind, Joe, in a couple weeks. The last time that they played was back on May 16th in that game against Tri-State. So they've had a couple weeks off since then, and we'll see if they have any rust coming into the early start of this game and if maybe the Blue Devils can try and take advantage of that.
And we should note that we have not yet received a Blue Devils roster. So, Nick, it appears that you and I very well may be calling this one blind in terms of the names behind the numbers. We'll do the best we can with that, but as of now, we do not have a Blue Devils roster ahead of tonight's game. And speaking of the Blue Devils, Nick, I do believe I saw them out on the field a bit earlier. We do not see any Blue Devils out on the field right now. Keep in mind, kickoff is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. We did get started a bit late on our last broadcast. That could be the case again here tonight based on the look of things. We don't know that yet, but if this game does not kick off at 7:30, I won't be too surprised, Nick, because right now we only see one team out there on the field. But before we get a chance to speak to some members of that team in the Jersey Bearcats, let's take a look at what's ahead for this team the rest of the way. One more game for us here on PDF, potentially the final time we cover the Bearcats this season, and that game comes next week here at Waranenko against the Mississippi Wolfpack. And Nick, we can't talk about that matchup next week without talking about what happened in the AAL2 championship last season. It was one of the most exciting broadcasts you and I have had the opportunity to put together here on PDF. But that finish certainly did not come without controversy.
And it certainly did not, Joe. And it went from a mix of elation on one side to elation on the other side. We had a sequence where we thought the clock would stop at the end because of an injury timeout. It did not stop. The Wolfpack had to bring their players quickly back on to make a play. They might have gone a little bit offside to start that play, but nonetheless, they took advantage of the play. They caught the Bearcats sleeping, and they were able to get the touchdown on the final play of the game to win the AAL2 championship. So you got to believe the Bearcats are looking forward to that matchup next week. But as you mentioned earlier on, cannot look ahead to that matchup just yet. You have to first get through this matchup here tonight, and then you could start the preparations for that matchup next week. But you got to believe that matchup is looming with this Bearcats team, especially with the way it ended last season.
No question about it, Nick. And they do have a win over the Wolfpack this year. That came on the road, a chance to defend home turf and further avenge that loss in the AAL2 championship last year. The Bearcats tonight will be looking for their second straight win as they take on the CNY Blue Devils shortly. However, before we kick off, Nick heads down to field level to speak with head coach AJ Roque and a key member of this Bearcats offense ahead of tonight's game. More to come here on the Brownstone pregame show when we come back.
Right, the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calv wanted to do a podcast. Everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen?
I'm so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work with me, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know Right.
The PDF Sports Network is officially seeking sponsors for the 2026 Viterra Liga season. The Veteraliga is the top professional American football league in Finland, and now, for the first time, is available in the English language and in the U.S., courtesy of PDF. Join us as we make history by showcasing the Maple League to a new worldwide audience. Our partnership with the Veteraliga was recently featured in International Business Journal as a groundbreaking venture that in 2025 earned us a Global Recognition Award and a GHP Magazine Award for Best Local Live Broadcasting in the nation. It's time to bring our coverage to the next level and showcase your products and business to local and international audiences. Show your support now by calling us at 732-723-8189 or by emailing pdfsportsnet@gmail.com.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
Joe Foreman back with you from the Waranenko Sports Center here on the PDF Sports Network as we welcome you back in to the Brownstone Grill in Metuchen pregame show. And as promised before our first commercial break of the pregame, Nick has made his way down to field level. His first conversation is with Bearcats head coach A.J. Roque.
Yep. All right, Joe, I'm here on the field with head coach A.J. Roque. And A.J., first off, let's talk about that game a couple of weeks ago. Your team getting the win over Tri-State. But it's been a couple of weeks since you guys have last played. So tell me about what some of the preparation you guys have done in the last 2 weeks with the time off, and how can you avoid any rust here tonight in this game?
Well, it was good time off for injuries. For guys to, heal up. For us, practicing, not playing last week, it sucks not to play, but, there's nothing Wheeling can do, right? They have a hockey team that also plays in that arena that is very good this year, right? They haven't been to the playoffs or this far in like 18 years, and even in the playoffs in like 12 years. So, it is what it is, but, we've dealt with this before, so, we just got to come out and practice and continue with our film and be prepared for when the time comes to get back on the field.
And talking about what happened afterwards, I really like what you said in your guys' post-game where you said despite what the outcome was of that game, there's still some things you guys would like to fix going into tonight's game. So tell me, what were some of the things that you saw in that last game that you want to fix tonight and hoping to get another victory before the season comes down to an end?
Yeah, we want to, understand our assignments still, techniques, right? And quarterbacks, it's new for us to be under center. So we want to be able to get our timing up, getting our routes, getting our drops, getting the ball out, running backs being able to adjust, being closer to the line of scrimmage, making their blocks. DBs getting where they got to be on the field in zone and stuff. It's just, just things that we need to do to help us get over the hump against the better teams.
All right, thank you so much for your time, AJ. Good luck tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was Bearcats head coach AJ Roque. Joe, we'll throw it right back up to you.
All right, thank you, Nick, and thank you to Bearcats head coach A.J. Roque. And that's not the only conversation Nick got the chance to have pregame, and I'm glad Nick asked about playing under center a bit more last week. It's something I wanted to talk about a bit more during the pregame show as we move forward. A player impacted by that change, offensive lineman Shea Roberts, got a chance to catch up with Nick a bit earlier.
Joe, I'm here on the field with offensive lineman Shea Roberts. And Shea, let's talk about your team's performance the last game a couple weeks ago against Tri-State. 87 points put up on the board. Talk to me about what went right for you guys in that game, and how can you possibly try to duplicate it here again tonight?
We just played three phases of the football: offense, defense, special teams. We had our foot on the gas and we didn't let up. So that's what we plan to do tonight too.
And speak to me about some of your team's preparation. I just talked to your head coach about a little bit of time off in between that last game here to tonight. So what's been your guys' team preparation going into tonight's game offensively? And as I mentioned, how can you try to keep that going, keep the momentum going before the season comes down to an end?
Yes, sir. Nothing changed for us. We got hit with a late bye, but nothing changed. We had those practices. We had those Zoom sessions, so we just been grinding and doing what we've been doing. We're just trying to tighten up our toolkit and lock it in so that we can roll in the playoffs and win something.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Shea.
Yes,
Good luck
sir.
tonight.
Thank you.
That was offensive lineman Shea Roberts. Joe, we'll throw it right back up to you. Joe, I'm here on the field with offensive lineman Shea Roberts. And Shea,
says, looked like Nick wanted a second go at it on loop. He was illuminated by our graphic during that first playback of his conversation with Shea Roberts. But thank you to Nick and thank you to Shea for taking the time to speak with us ahead of tonight's game. As I mentioned before, it does look like we may be starting a bit late here this evening. We're about 3 minutes away from the scheduled 7:30 p.m. kickoff, and it does not look like we are going to kick off in 3 minutes. We do have a pregame timeline for each Bearcats home game, and there's still a lot to do ahead of our start here tonight. So what Nick and I will do is step aside and take a break as Nick makes his way back up from the field. And when Nick rejoins me, we'll talk a bit more about last year's AAL2 championship, look ahead to next week's game a bit more, and talk in a bit more detail about tonight's matchup between the Bearcats and the Blue Devils. All that coming up next here on the Brownstone Grill pregame show.
Jersey Bearcats football is brought to you by Pino's Bakery. Located at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle, Pino's is your prime stop for specialty cakes, pastries, and deli delights. Always fresh and made to order, our family-owned shop prides itself on bringing our kitchen into your homes and your heart. Pino's is where family, tradition, and goodness are a daily thing. Visit us at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle or online at pinosbakery.net. Thank you to our friends at Pino's Bakery.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMed Bar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089-232-694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
Zollner Championship Rings is the official ring provider of the AAL, the AAL2, and your Jersey Bearcats. Zollner provides class with excellence and is the perfect way to showcase perfection on the field of play. See the incredible selection and touch of class at Zollner. Visit us at zchampionshiprings.com and see our competitive pricing. Give Director of Sales, Joseph Khalil, a call at 1-800-303-8548. Zollner, official ring provider of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Kessler Rehabilitation Center are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at Kessler-PT.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
Joe Foreman and Nicholas Pavona back with you here on the PDF Sports Network. And for those who are joining us in anticipation of a 7:30 p.m. kickoff, the wait commences. As of right now, we do not appear to be close to kickoff. Taking a look to our left, Nick, I would say that at most there are 6, maybe 7 Blue Devils to the left of the 25-yard line. So I'm not sure what that means in terms of a start time, in terms of whether or not there will be a game this evening. But as of right now, we sit and we wait.
Yeah, I think that's, for the Bearcats, I think this is a tough position for them because, I talked about it with AJ Roque before about the rust and, having to wait these last couple weeks to play a game. And now you're in another situation where you have to wait to see if you're going to get this game in. And considering the fact that the next 2 weeks are big games for this team, a championship rematch against Mississippi, then the week after you have that matchup on the road against Columbus, who is the lone remaining undefeated team in this league. So for this Bearcats team, yes, while getting healthier and, getting that time off might be useful for this team, I think certainly it's got to be thinking to themselves, man, I want to get this game in because I want to get back to playing some football.
Well, Nick, I'm not sure if it's apparent on the
No
stream, but Joe, let's clear our pregame show graphic for just a moment and give our viewers potentially a bit of a look at the rooftop across the way. It was much more apparent a few seconds ago, Nick, but it seems like there is a torrential rainstorm beginning outside. There were tree branches flying, leaves covering the roof. It has gotten quite dark, and the weather has taken a turn for the worse.
I'll tell you what, Joe. Considering how the weather was earlier in terms of how hot it was, I might just go outside for a little bit.
Yeah, cool off in the rain.
Cool off, why not?
Well, unfortunately, there's been a bit of cold water thrown on our broadcast tonight with this game not beginning. And, this game's start time was pushed back. I believe there was another event in the facility causing this game to be moved back just a bit. But, with the revised start time, you would think that, maybe
it would help.
It would help things get underway a bit more quickly. And compared to the typical crowd that we have at time of kickoff, we don't have that same crowd here tonight. We do play on Saturdays most weeks, I'd say on average of every other week during the season, and they get some great turnouts. It's almost as if the revised start time or perhaps even the weather may have turned some people away.
It might be from the Knicks game last night, Joe. Maybe people are just still celebrating that
still
game.
Celebrating.
It might have to be. I wasn't certain if I was going to be able to come here the way I was celebrating last night.
My celebration didn't end until I pulled up in my parking spot. I was at MSG last night for the watch party. It was a good time, and I will be there on Monday and hopefully one final time on Wednesday to see the Knicks win an NBA Finals. But that's wishful thinking.
Certainly a sentence I never thought I'd say in my wildest dreams.
I agree with you until maybe a couple of years ago. I started to believe a couple of years back. I really did. And I think that the belief is being rewarded and sticking with them through the darkest days of the 21st century. In, 2016, where they won, 16 games?
Yeah, it's
I
been a bunch
so.
of 16,
It was 16, 17?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a 1765 year.
Yeah, it was a really
I got
poor
reminded
season.
of being there at a Halloween game when they were 1765 that season. And my friend said, hey, you want to go to the Knicks game for $50? Again, another sentence that nowadays you can't say anymore.
$50?
It was that cheap back then.
I thought that was a bit expensive for that, right?
And it was in the lower bowl, too.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I said no-brainer. But nowadays, you can't even get that for the 400s.
Yeah, the cheapest ticket to Game 3 of the NBA Finals
I saw.
is $10,000.
I saw. My friend is in a dilemma of selling his Game 4 tickets or not because they are going way, way up right now.
He has two?
He has two. He's probably going, but he said
I would say sell one.
He said,
you sell one and you go.
Well, the problem is his fiance's going with him. So
so it's all or nothing.
Don't know if you can really sell it and tell your fiance, hey, sorry, you're going to have to stay home.
Are they married yet?
They will be married.
All right, so dumb question.
February.
Okay. Valentine's Day wedding?
That's the Valentine's Day wedding. Otherwise known as Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, it depends. What do you value, your $14,000 or your Valentine's Day wedding next year? It could be a bit of a dilemma for a true Knicks fan.
It could probably pay off a lot of that wedding, so that's probably could help.
That is very true. If he sold both tickets, that's a wedding, right?
Easily.
I wouldn't know. What do weddings cost?
Well, if it goes up in price, continues to go up in price, then it very much could.
If the game becomes a clincher, I would anticipate those tickets to be worth about $20,000 or more.
Easily.
Or more.
Easily.
And he's on the Chase Bridge Center?
Yep.
Those are
very good view.
Yeah. So I would say the lowest tier of tickets in MSG is 400 level. The bridge is the second lowest, even though it's not the second lowest priced.
Yeah.
People look at 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level. They don't look at the bridge is higher than the 200 level. They don't look at it that way.
There's not really a bad seed in MSG
well,
at the end of the day.
That's the
for the most part.
As long as you're not against the corner wall on the 200 level or at the top of the 400 level, you're fine. I actually love the bridge.
Yeah.
But that's enough about basketball. While we have some more time ahead of tonight's kickoff, we mentioned that looking 1 week ahead, the Bearcats have a rematch with the Mississippi Wolfpack, two teams that did meet already this season. The Bearcats won that game decisively. However, you touched on it, Nick. Controversial ending to that game last year. The Bearcats losing on the final play. I debated capturing the call and running it back tonight, but I figured it's more appropriate to save that for next week.
Yeah.
If this start time tonight gets delayed a bit longer, we may have to go back into the archives and pull that video clip out. But to break it down even further, looking back to that game last year, between the Bearcats and the Wolfpack. There was an injury that occurred late in that game. So we're fast-forwarding to the final drive of the game. Wolfpack with possession, driving inside of the Bearcats' 20-yard line. There was an injury. Now, that injury may or may not have been legitimate based on the video.
Might have been some acting.
There may have been some theatrics, some dramatics, and perhaps even some fakery. But some deceptiveness. Deception. Is deceptiveness a word? I guess it is.
I don't know, but going back to basketball, maybe the Spurs took a little bit of some lessons from the Wolfpack last night.
It's getting really nasty outside, too. But
yeah, it really is.
Staying on focus here. Game last year, there may have been a bit of an embellished injury.
Yeah.
And that did cause the clock to stop temporarily with the Wolfpack in possession of the ball. Bearcats defense backed up against their own end zone. So with the Bearcats defense out there, I believe the ball was at about the 7, maybe a little bit further out, the 12 perhaps?
Yeah, it was.
In that range?
Yeah.
Between the 5 and the 15 for sure.
Yes.
Wolfpack with the ball. The injury occurs. The injury, I'm doing air quotes, but our audience can't see that, of course. And then the next play ensues with the clock running. The referee restarts the clock, Wolfpack with it. They're not aware the clock is running.
Right.
We are not aware immediately that the clock is running.
Right.
You become aware of it shortly before the Wolfpack line up over the football. They snap it. They throw for the end zone. Before we mention that play ended with a game-winning touchdown, we should rewind a bit and mention that it was unclear whether or not they got the snap off. So based on the video, you can't tell because we can't see the clock.
Right.
And based on our perspective, we're following the football. We're looking up, looking down. It was very close. If they did get it off, it was very close if they did not get it off. The Bearcats did not think they got it off. The defense effectively didn't move, and what effectively becomes a free play went for a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, it was effectively, both sides not moving outside of the receiver, the quarterback, and the defensive back on that play. Pretty much everyone was just standing still and saying to themselves, what just happened? You and I were saying what just happened. We could not believe what was going on in that sequence. And I think for the way that game ended, it really stung for that Bearcats team. We talked to some coaches afterwards, and it's just really a tough way to end your season. You build up to try to win a championship, and at the end of the day, your season comes down to that final play. And unfortunately, despite all that happening, the quote-unquote injury, the unawareness of the clock, and then it costing the Bearcats on that final play, that really stung with this team. And considering the fact that they now move up to the AAL this season, and yes, it's been an up and down season for the Bearcats so far, but there's still hope that this team can still play another home playoff game this season. You mentioned it, the scenario is pretty much that they have to win out to get that home playoff game. But depending on what happens here tonight, if we get that if this game in or not, those last 2 games against both Mississippi and Columbus will loom large for this Bearcats team if they want to have an opportunity to come back here and wear an ankle for the postseason.
Now, to my knowledge, a makeup against Wheeling has not been announced. I don't know if that game will eventually be played. You would think that there is a situation where it has to be played.
I think you have to, considering the standings. We looked at it earlier, but they were, I believe, only a half game back of the Miners in that standings for that number 2 seed.
Well, we'll have Joe throw up the standings for us in just a moment, but you mentioned the AAL I almost said AAL 2. That would have been a mistake. But you mentioned the AAL standings there. You see them on your screen. And as you said, Nick, it's tight in the middle of the standings right now. A half game separating Jersey and Wheeling. However, Wheeling does have a win over the Bearcats. So realistically, if Wheeling was to lose to Columbus again, we don't have the Miners schedule. I would presume that you play the division twice each for sure. Don't quote me on that. But
I won't hold you to
assuming they play Columbus again, Columbus could help out the Bearcats, maybe hand the Miners another loss, and then potentially the postseason could come down to that meeting between Jersey and Wheeling in terms of hosting a first-round game. We'll see if it does come down to that and when that game would be played. We're not sure. The Bearcats, of course, playing next week. And, Joe, why don't you show us the Bearcats schedule? I do believe I uploaded that. If I did not, I apologize, but here we go. Bearcats schedule, and there you see what was scheduled, the matchup between Wheeling and Jersey last week. You have games on the schedule now for tonight, next week, and the following week. So to get that game in against Wheeling, you probably have to add a week to your regular season. Don't know if that's possible. And Nick, looks like you have a schedule in front of you.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Miners' schedule, and they have a game tonight against the War Eagles. Then next week, a big matchup with Columbus, and then they end the season against Mississippi. So they are also in a spot where they definitely are going to have to consider making up that game or not, because we don't know what their schedule is going to be after these next 3 weeks. They might need that game to get that home playoff game. So be very interesting to see what the league does in terms of rescheduling the game and getting it played through, or if it will matter at the end of the day because both seeds will be locked in at that appropriate time.
And if they do end up tied with each team owning one win against the other, what would the tiebreaker be? That's another question that comes into play in that situation.
You and I are not very fond fans of tiebreakers.
You and I, sorting through tiebreakers, it's a very tumultuous history. There's a lot of backstory there, but we have plenty of time, so let's share some of it. First, tomorrow on the PDF Sports Network, making its YouTube debut, the Vetera Liga, which is the NFL of Finland, the Maple League. That will air tomorrow, our season opener. Tomorrow, we will see the Porvoo Butchers take on the Tampere Saints in a Week 1 matchup. That game will air right here on the PDF Sports Network YouTube channel tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. start time for that game. Again, the Vetera Liga, also known as the Maple League, is the NFL of Finland, the highest level of professional football in the country of Finland. Week 1, season opener here on PDF. Butchers, Saints, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Now, speaking of our tumultuous tiebreaker history, a bit later in the summer, beginning in, I believe, mid-July for you and I, the 19th, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you are correct.
We head to Staten Island, New York for the 10U New York State Baseball Regional Championship. The Eastern Regional Championship played in Staten Island, New York, Great Kills Little League. That begins, don't quote me, but July 19th, if my memory serves correctly. We did not have this information prepared for the pregame tonight, but plenty of baseball coming up. That is followed by the 10U Eastern Regional Softball Championship and the New York State Little League Baseball Championship, 12 and under in the state championship. Of course, those young athletes get the chance to play for a spot in Bristol and then ultimately in Williamsport as part of the Little League World Series. The winner of the New York State Little League Baseball Championship a couple of years ago now, South Shore, they made it to the semifinal 2 years ago in Williamsport. I believe they lost to the eventual champion Florida.
I think they either lost to Florida or Japan because they played one of them at the very end.
I think it was
probably Florida, and then Florida, I think, beat Japan at the end. Or Chinese Taipei, it might have been.
Okay. Either way, it was a very deep run into the Little League World Series for South Shore, the winner of the New York State Little League Baseball Championship, which aired right here on the PDF Sports Network. So a lot to look forward to here this summer. The Maple League, the NFL of Finland, Little League Baseball, 10U Baseball, 10U Softball. That's all coming up this summer.
Yeah, think about for the kids at the Little League. They got, for that South Shore team a couple years ago, they went from meeting us a couple times to meeting Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees.
Well, let's not talk about how that went now. A bit of controversy.
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah, a bit of controversy. And, you know, I think the national audience were shaking their heads saying, oh, Staten Island. But you and I, of course, both native Staten Islanders.
Yeah.
Now, business at hand tonight. We were expecting a 7:30 start. We still don't appear close, Nick. So what you and I are going to do is step aside and take a break right here. It is close to 7:50 with an announcement coming in. And could we be close?
We might be close. They're doing pregame introductions potentially. So it
looks like player intros, Nick. You and I off headset. We'll throw it down to Anthony on field level.
fitted bag, I pay semesters. I turn dream girls to my new extras. Had clients recognize game girls through through. Going through the city like the pool out fruit. Got a Harlem broad, got a Brooklyn broad. I ain't come this far just to come this far. A friend to all is a friend to none. So don't push me, trick, cause I'll press the button. I went there for the chip. I went there for the chip. All I need is one night. All I need is one night. I went there for the chip. All I need is one night, one chip. Dumb drip. Baby want a piece, told me scrub shit. Baby wanna be with me, go be a husband. She was singing on my neck, teddy love spin. He said you were a fool, but you were a fool, make me want to. Christy clean, but I knew that the day things you make me want to shoot. I went there, I just can't with you. I went there for the chip.
At this time, I ask you to please rise in favor and remove your hats as the honor of the United States of America, as well as their service people around the globe to defend our freedom and protect our way of life on this anniversary of the year with the play of our national anthem.
Joe Foreman back with you here alongside Nicholas Pavona. We're going to throw it down to field level one final time ahead of kickoff for a pregame performance by the Lady Bearcats, down to field level for their pregame performance. As always, the Lady Bearcats bringing life to the Warenenko Sports Arena before the start of tonight's game. And it will be the Bearcats taking on the CNY Blue Devils here this evening. Joe Foreman on the call alongside Nicholas Bavona. And Nick, we mentioned it before, the weather outside got very nasty about a half hour ago. There were some late arrivals that appeared on the CNY side. And of course, as we mentioned during our Brownstone Grill pregame show, we do not have an official roster for the visitors tonight. So we'll be calling that side of the action a bit blind. We'll do our best to give everyone their credit where it is due, but without names, it gets a bit tougher.
Yeah, it certainly does, Joe. And unfortunately, we'll not be able to say their names when giving them the credit, but we'll give credit where credit is due if a play is made at any point by these Blue Devils team. But what a chance for them to pull off a potential upset, Joe. You see the numbers and size of both sides of the roster. It's going to take a lot for this Devils team to come out with a victory here tonight. They might have to, all these players might have to play on both sides of the ball to try to get the job done here at Warenenko.
Tall task in front of Central New York tonight. Of course, CNY Central New York in the Blue Devils name. We had a brief graphic on the screen about the Blue Devils during our pregame show, but Nick, very new organization, founded in September, and this is their first ever meeting with the Bearcats. We always talk about it, expect the unexpected. I mentioned the element of surprise, but the Bearcats coming off the kind of win that they had in their last game, you know that there is going to be a very difficult task ahead of this Blue Devils team tonight, and the Bearcats have not lost sight of the objective at hand. Continue to win decisively where you feel you should and play your best football through the rest of the regular season, especially in those divisional games, hoping to climb the standings and potentially host a playoff game at home. But execution is the priority tonight. You spoke about it with head coach A.J. Roque, some of the things this team needs to clean up, and it's hard to find those things sometimes when you win as handily as they did in their last game. But Coach Roque definitely well aware of what this team needs to address heading into those big late season divisional matchups, and you get a chance to do that perhaps 1 week later than you wanted to against the Blue Devils here tonight.
Yeah, and I think, when you look at that game, 87-6, you think to yourself, well, there's possibly nothing that could really upset your staff about what that game went. And when we talked to AJ Roque earlier, and as well as that last game against Tri-State, there were still things he wanted to fix. We talked about that as well, about what he wanted to fix. And if you look at both sides of the ball, the offense was rolling on all cylinders for the Bearcats in that game. But you also have to be impressed about the defense in the game for the Bearcats. Yes, the 87 on the offensive side looks great and all, but that defense only allowed 6 points in that last game against Tri-State. So they also need a lot of credit for what they did in that game against Tri-State. And we'll see if they can duplicate their performance here tonight against the Blue Devils.
We've seen it time after time. Jersey receiving the opening kickoff. The Blue Devils will be kicking from left to right. Don't discount special teams in a building like this, Nick. It is hard to kick, but we've seen a lot of action-packed returns, some awkward bounces. Now, if the ball hits the ceiling, it is dead. Keep that in mind as well. But when you're forced to kick low-line drives to avoid the ceiling, if that's your intention as the kicking team, it does create opportunities on the other side. The ball gets there very quickly. It doesn't always allow teams to set up their kick coverage, and that's where you get a lot of those big returns.
Yeah, we saw the Bearcats last season have a lot of kickoff returns in a couple of their games, and it got to the point where the opposing side would just kick it up towards the ceiling to avoid a run back. So we're curious to see if the Blue Devils start this game off with a potential kick towards the ceiling.
Once again, as we mentioned before, no roster for the Blue Devils provided to us. And they will kick off here. It is a short one into the center of the field. It is scooped up by the Bearcats across the 25. And ushered out of bounds on the return is Maurice Hubbard.
Yeah, Hubbard on the recovery team, if you want to put it that way, on the up end front of that kickoff return team. And a nice starting field position for Jersey to get this game going.
Now, what do you think, Nick? An attempt to prevent a big return or an onside?
I think it's to prevent a big return on that
I agree with you.
I don't think it's a spot where you're trying to onside it. If you're going to do that, you need to kick it towards somebody on that up end front and try to knock it off of them to get it touched.
We've seen that before, too. And if team does fall behind and wants to try and steal a possession, that's definitely an option. Now, you spoke about it with Coach Roque. We talked about it at length during our last broadcast here, but Bearcats ran plenty of plays under center in their last home game, and that's how they will start here tonight. Rodriguez takes the snap, and he will hand off to Nas Adams straight up the middle and down inside the 5-yard line. It is an early Bearcats first down, and it will be 1st and goal from the CNY 3.
Can't ask for a better start right there. Just hand it up right off the middle to Adams, and let's see if he gets the ball right back here. Try to get the 6.
Nikhil, the motion man, handoff. Adams, touchdown Bearcats. Just over 90 seconds into the opening quarter, Jersey goes in front, 6-0.
Well, we spoke about it with Shea Roberts earlier, Joe. It's going to be really tough to duplicate what they did a few weeks back against Tri-State, but 2 plays into this game, and they're already into the end zone for the game's first points.
Extra point coming up as we get one more look at that touchdown run. Good patient run from Nas Adams. Well blocked up front. There was some pursuit off the edge, but the hole opened up in time for Adams to surge through it for 6. Hernandez Pies will kick the extra point. And the line drive kick is no good, wide to the left. So Bearcats will settle for 6, and they have an early lead with 12.5 to go in the opening quarter.
Well, outside the missed extra point, you'll certainly take the start of your Jersey, getting a touchdown just 2 plays in, and now we'll see what this defense could do on the other side of things. As much as they would like to say, yes, we had a great game against Tri-State, I think that giving up the 6 points still maybe lingering just a little bit. They definitely wanted a shutout in that game, so let's see if they have an opportunity to do it here tonight.
Well, talk about asserting your will at the line of scrimmage if you were Jersey on that drive. A couple of rushes, gaping holes up the middle on both attempts, and I don't think you can script a much better start on the ground if you're the Bearcats. That being said, it was a short field, and you have to wonder if that's going to be something that they're gifted regularly as the Blue Devils tried to keep the ball away from some of their dynamic return men. Jersey lining up to kick off here, leading 6-0. We should note, Nick, the clock is running. The clock did not stop at any point during that opening drive. It looks like they're going to go running clock tonight. As that kickoff did scrape the ceiling, it is blown dead. Now, based upon the reaction from the CNY bench, I thought maybe they were surprised by that.
Yeah, I think they didn't know if it's, touched the top of that ceiling for a second. I think that's why they were a bit confused, but nonetheless, it did just, by a trim margin, hit the top of the ceiling. And going back to the topic of the clock running, I think that's a smart idea, Joe, because despite it now raining a little bit outside, it is still a very warm night here in Roselle. So I think for these two teams, conditioning is definitely going to play a factor into the game for these two sides.
Well, I'll tell you, Nick, you and I set up at around 5:45, 6 o'clock. We were drenched by the time we were done.
Yeah.
And I mentioned the conditions during our last broadcast here. If you're not used to playing in a facility like this that really traps the heat and the humidity, combining that with the low ceiling, it's tough for you both in terms of your conditioning and in terms of how you look to throw the football.
Yeah.
It is not easy to come in here and put together a dynamic performance on offense. It's a first down throw for the Blue Devils, knocked down at the line of scrimmage, incomplete.
I think that was Brandon Perrott that swatted that down at the line of scrimmage. Very interesting, Joe. We have a 00 and a 0, I think, on those rosters.
As long as you don't say number 00 or number 0.
No.
That'll get your headset revoked. You'll move to my left, and Joe will take your seat.
I'm sure he's ready for it. He might try to persuade me to do that at some point.
He might. He might. We have some very capable crew members tonight. You, Joe, and myself all can pull double duty.
Yeah.
And I believe you will both be doing so at the state championships coming up.
Right.
We touched on that during the pregame. A lot of coverage coming on the baseball and softball diamonds this summer here on PDF, along with plenty more football in the fall. As that snap was botched, and the play was blown dead. Now, I'm not quite sure how you blow that dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I'd be curious to know what the ruling was.
It's not like it was a spike that it would, be a untimed or not untimed down, but it would be.
So the ball was snapped off of a player in the offensive backfield, which is certainly a fumble.
Yeah, but it was blown dead for some reason. Bearcats had it.
Sure did.
That is a unusual play right there.
It is third down. Though now the sticks read second down.
Okay.
Very, very odd. It's a throw on second down, a rollout, and a souvenir for the fans seated behind the Bearcats bench.
Well, we don't have the roster, but number 10 was in a world of trouble with the pressure from the Bearcats defense. They had 3 or 4 different defenders bringing the pressure on that play.
He had to feel like the Bearcats had 10 defenders on the field there. Instant pressure. But a good job to get rid of it and buy yourself another down. It is third down, so I can't tell you why that previous play was blown dead or why that down did not count, but it is third down. Pre-snap motion up the far side, and another muffed snap. It is loose. The Bearcats got on top of it for a moment, and they do not allow the advance. What an odd play, Nick.
It's been that type of a night so far, Joe. We're only a couple plays in.
Yeah, I mean, that ball was snapped well, and it went straight through the quarterback's hands.
Yeah.
The Bearcats appeared to have an easy recovery after the quarterback failed to get on it, and it got away from one Bearcat, who then got back up, got on it.
I believe that was Timms that got the recovery.
Yeah, it was Aziz Timms, and I thought Timms had a touchdown. Instead, it is blown dead. Bearcats take over. First and goal from the Blue Devils' 4-yard line. 6:40 to go in the opening quarter.
The Bearcats have a chance, Joe, to get a touchdown with just 3 plays potentially of offense so far in this game. Potentially 2 touchdowns, I should say, with 3 offensive plays. God, I think it's going back to Adams.
Pre-snap motion. And a handoff to the wideout, who was in for a touchdown. The Bearcats on the board as Manny Stewart takes it in, following the motion from his wideout position. No resistance on the goal line there as Stewart took it across. 6 more on the board for Jersey, and the Bearcats lead it 12-0.
3 plays, 2 touchdowns for this offense, Joe, and they got credited with that fumble recovery to set them up for that spot. And how about that jet sweep play right there for the Bearcats offense? I thought initially maybe go back to Adams after that last touchdown, and they give it to Stewart on the jet sweep for 6 more.
Fernandez Pies back on for the PAT. Good snap, good hold.
Wow.
And they're going to say no good. Now,
it hit the ceiling and then came back down.
It did, but it would have been good had it not been for the ceiling.
Yeah.
And Nick, that's what makes it so tough to kick in this building.
And I think that's right now the only downside so far in this game for the Bearcats, their special teams so far in this game.
Well, it is a fireworks show outside in terms of the weather. And here in Waranenko, Bearcats have come out on fire. 12 points.
I thought you were going to say the Bearcats offense put up some fireworks so far.
Well, both sides of the ball have done their part, Nick. And, you know, given what we saw last time we covered this team here, the huge win, what was it, 87-6? You know, I can't say that much surprises me anymore in terms of crooked numbers for this Bearcats team. But were it not for the running clock, they were going to have the opportunity to do something tonight that may have even surpassed what they did last time we covered them.
Yeah.
That one off the fingertips of the return man and scooped up just inside the goal line. The Bearcats are there to make the tackle just shy of the Blue Devils' 10-yard line. So CNY will take over here, trailing 12-0.
And we'll see how their offense comes back out after that allowed fumble that they had in the last play. A bad snap, or not a bad snap, but a bad opportunity right there on the snap for number 10. Was not able to retrieve the ball, not picking it back up. Timms was able to benefit from that and get the recovery and set up Stewart on that last touchdown, but they're not backed up a little bit even further than where they were before.
We're under 4 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Bearcats lead 12-0. Clock continuing to run. Now, another question will be, are we going to have our scheduled media timeouts tonight? We have not had our first quarter break yet.
That's a good question.
We started late, which leads me to believe they could potentially scrap those. But that remains to be seen. 1st and 10, Blue Devils. Ball at the 10. Pre-snap motion on the far side, and a throw that way is knocked down. Good play on the defensive line by Joey Ramirez to get a hand on it.
And so far, the Blue Devils have not had a play or pass the line of scrimmage these last couple of plays they've had. This is the second time they've had a pass swatted down at the line. It's a consistent pressure so far from this Bearcats defense.
Well, we've seen Jersey can wreak havoc up front, and a lot of the time, the work of the big guys on the defensive line pays off in the secondary. We've seen a lot of interceptions that do require some acrobatics and strong hands from the DBs, but a lot of the time the big guys up front create those opportunities, and there's a short completion to get about half of what they need for a first down. And aggressively driving down to make the tackle on that play was Jaquin Wembley. That will bring up a 3rd and 5. Undoubtedly 4-down territory here for the Blue Devils as we get one more look at that last completion. Wembley making no mistake on that tackle, and that's a completion you can afford to allow all night if you're Jersey. We're inside of 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Again, pre-snap motion, and a throw downfield is incomplete. Tight window there as Naeem Archer, who we got a chance to speak to a few weeks back, was in on that play. He gets credit on the coverage, and that will bring up 4th down.
Yeah, we'll see what the Blue Devils line up here, Joe. But you saw it once again, Bearcats bringing a lot of pressure. It was a quick decision by the quarterback to make that throw deep down the field. And as you mentioned, a tight window to get it there. Almost got it towards that sideline, but just not able to do so. It brings up 4th down.
Well, credit to the Blue Devils offensive line on that play. That was well blocked. It takes time to get that opportunity to throw down the field, but the coverage perhaps even a bit better. Time running out here on 4th down, and the Bearcats are there in the offensive backfield. And on the sack is Aziz Timms, and Jersey will take over on downs.
Timms has been a menace so far in this game, Joe. He's provided that consistent pressure, but now has a fumble recovery, and now a sack on 4th down, a turnover on downs, and once again, Jersey will be in good prime territory to try and put up some more points.
Perhaps an early favorite to join us post-game. Will the Bearcats run a play before the end of the first quarter?
It's a good question.
It does not appear so.
I don't think so.
And it looks like they're preparing to switch sides. So what we're going to do is, in lieu of the quarter read for the first quarter, we'll get that in right now. With our break between the first and second quarters, it's all about fitness. Now, typically, we would have our contestants doing their thing out on the field in a contest sponsored by Infinite Athletic Training, located in Piscataway, New Jersey. When it comes to athletic training, health care, rehabilitation, fitness, sports performance, return to play, and athlete recovery, Infinite Athletic Training's clinicians are the go-to providers for youth and adult patients. and all of those leading active lifestyles. IAT has been providing knowledgeable, compassionate, and patient-centered care to thousands of athletes over the last 20 years. Work one-on-one with them and let Infinite Athletic Training help unlock your performance potential or get you back in the game. Visit them at infiniteathletictraining.com or give them a call at 732-783-4973. Thank you to our friends at Infinite Athletic Training. Just in time for another performance by the Lady Bearcats. We'll be right back. Joe Foreman and Nicholas Bavona back with you for the start of the second quarter here on the PDF Sports Network. And Nick, all Bearcats in the first quarter. They have it to begin the second with a chance for more, already in front 12-0.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for a better start if you're this Bearcats team, Joe. You know, on the offensive side, they've only had to run 3 plays, and they've gotten 2 touchdowns. And on the defensive side, a forced fumble, a turnover on downs for us, and it's been really tough for this Blue Devil team so far, trying to stop that pressure on the defense, on the offensive side, and on the defensive side. So far, it's been 3 runs for the Bearcats, and 2 of them have gone in for 6.
Jersey ball at the Blue Devils' 13-yard line. 1st and 10 to begin quarter number 2. Throughout this game, they have kept the clock running. We would presume that continues following the result of this first play here in quarter number 2. Motion man Hubbard up through the slot. He is wide open and drops it in the end zone. Incomplete.
He's gonna want to have that one back, Joe. That one was as wide open as he possibly could have been, and Hubbard going to be kicking himself on that play, but certain he will try to see maybe if he can get another opportunity here on second down.
Looks like the Blue Devils defense was caught more than a bit flat-footed on that play. They had the personnel, but not the movement on the backside of that defense. Second and 10 at the 13. This time it is Phil Meekill deep in the offensive backfield, which usually means he will be the motion man. Same look. Throw. Incomplete. Good coverage there. Blue Devils ready for it that time on the backside, and that will bring up 3rd down.
Well, they got a gift on the previous play with the drop, and then they get a nice defensive play right there. You mentioned Bearcats pretty much did the exact same type of play. Looked like a little bit maybe of a slot post play right there. It did not work, and now it's 3rd down coming for Jersey.
Same look offensively, different man on the receiving end, and that time better coverage by Central New York. First 3rd down of the night for the Bearcats. I believe that last play was the first 2nd down of the night. It's toss, and it is a Jersey touchdown. No resistance on the way to the end zone for Joey Ward, and the Bearcats go in front by 3 scores.
Well, after the first 2 plays, passing didn't work. They went right back to the run, which has been working for them so far, Joe. They've ran, I believe now, a couple plays on the run. First 2 were up the middle, then the jet sweep, and then that toss right there. 4 rushing plays, 3 of them have gone in for a touchdown.
Bearcats asserting their will in the ground game. Look at that blocking on the right edge. Great job there to set that edge and propel Ward to the end zone by the Jersey offensive line. Now,
I'm sure they'll put those points at the board.
Do we have a 65 on the roster, Nick? Not seeing it.
I do not see it either.
PAT is good. Let's get one more look at that replay, Joe. Make sure I have the right number on the edge there.
There is a 65, so I can attest there is.
It is 65. And 65 is not on the roster, Nick? Yeah. Not on the roster. Jersey in front, 19-0 after the PAT was good by Hernandez Pais. Clock has been stopped here at 12 minutes, so they went running clock in the first quarter. Did they not run it only after the touchdown?
It was
running?
and then they stopped it at 12.
Okay. And even 12 minutes on the clock here in quarter number 2. The Bearcats lead at 19-0 and will kick off. Line drive kick through the legs of the return man into the end zone. You have to get it out. And the Blue Devils will, but the Bearcats are there to make the tackle right around the 5.
That's the second time I felt like Paez has found someone in that backfield, Joe, where he just kicked it directly towards him, and it hit off of that man, and it forced him to run it out of the end zone to try to get any type of yardage.
Archer made a nice tackle going in low to trip up the return man as well. Blue Devils offense picked up a gain of 5 on their last drive. That is their lone positive play thus far. Clock is running, 11:11 to go in the second quarter. And I must say, Nick, they've been given a lot of time to get set to open the last 2 drives.
Yeah, and I think it might be to attest to what I said earlier, that they're playing both sides of the ball. So maybe they're trying to get them a little bit extra time so that they can set up.
And it's a first down handoff. That goes nowhere. 2 Bearcats stonewall that rushing attempt at the line of scrimmage. And it looks like it went for a loss of about 2 or 3.
Yeah, it looks like they're set up at around maybe the 2-yard line right now at the moment.
Well, you know what that means, Nick, with this Bearcats defense, obviously very hungry. They've not let up at all. Seemingly, they've picked up right where they left off the last time we saw them play here at Waranenko. And now, with a tackle for a loss of a couple, they could put 2 more up on the board.
As I mentioned, really tough to do what you did last time out with an 81-point win, but without the running clock, they could have been on a greater pace this time around.
Well, it's always tough to be asked to play 2 sides of the ball, and just about the entire Blue Devils roster is being forced to do that. I think they have 10 dressed, if my count is correct. Pre-snap motion once again, quick throw complete. Nice first move to get upfield, but the Bearcats will shut that one down before it can get much further.
Yeah, good move right there by the wide receiver. He caught that immediate pass on the sideline and then was able to juke out a couple of Bearcats defenders. And he gets a couple extra yardage to now make this a more manageable third down, just at around, it looks like the 7 or 8 yard line.
We approach 9 minutes to go in the first half, and we did get off to a late start, Nick. We mentioned that already. I think we kicked off at about, what would you say, shortly after 8?
Maybe like a minute or 2 after 8 o'clock.
I'm also curious to see if they'll abbreviate halftime, because this game has really been moving. 8:45 to go. Third down and about 7 for the Blue Devils. Time to throw here, and incomplete over the middle on that pass attempt. The opening was there, but the throw came up short.
Yeah, I think that's, again, credit to the Bearcats' pressure, because it forced that throw to be just a little bit too short. They had that receiver up the middle of the field coming in on the reception, but it was just a little bit too short of the opportunity to make the catch. And now it's a really tough fourth down here for the Blue Devils, backed up into their own territory.
Just over 8 minutes to go, first half, and get the sense, Nick, that without a score on this drive, this game's going to get away from the Blue Devils very quickly. Jersey would get started deep in Blue Devils territory, and there's been no resistance to the ground game thus far. To keep this respectable and within striking distance through halftime. You need to keep this drive going. It's a 4th down throw, and a flag comes out as that pass is intercepted. Naeem Archer has it up the sideline, and I think he's just short of the end zone there.
Yeah, I think at the 1-yard line he got tackled. I think the flag is on the offense, so that will probably get declined, but we'll see what the call is. Oh, it's against the Bearcat defense. They got offside.
That was a signal for offside? I saw one of these, like a false start signal.
Yeah, neutral zone infraction, I guess if you want to call it that way. But, yeah, it's a huge penalty. That negates the interception.
Clock still running inside of 7 minutes to go here in the first half. The interception is negated by the penalty, and that will bring up 4th and much more manageable. They need about 2 or 3. Realistically, the entire playbook is open in this spot, Nick. You can do anything here.
I'd be curious if they try to maybe go to a quick short pass that got them a couple yards earlier in this drive, or do they try to maybe run the ball maybe on the outside? They try to catch the Bearcats off guard, but you see the marker, Joe, now. They made it first down. So that definitely wasn't a neutral zone infraction.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the call was.
They did not signal neutral zone infraction, that's for sure. I don't know what they did signal, but the sticks initially read 4th and short. It is now 1st down and 10. First down of the game for the Blue Devils, and that pass incomplete off the fingertips of the intended target right in front of the Jersey bench.
All they can think of is maybe a personal foul on one of the Bearcats, because that would automatically give you a first down. I'm not sure what the call would have been other than that.
I did not see anything that led me to believe that there was a personal foul.
Right.
Your guess is as good as mine, Nick.
Not entirely sure.
I wonder if they've ever considered miking up the referees. I think the problem is you'd have to have someone controlling the referee's microphone on the side, because it would always have to be live. Technically, we could mic up the ref and bring it into the broadcast.
Well, imagine we had the referees for last year's AAL2 championship game.
Oh, boy.
That would have been something.
They would have left with the microphone. Throw on 2nd down, complete over the middle. Biggest offensive play of the game. Goes for a gain of nearly 15 yards for the Blue Devils, and they're out across midfield.
Yeah, a few plays ago that they almost thought had an interception go against them, but the penalty helped them keep the drive going, and they now get a first down just out inside and have an opportunity on this side of the field to maybe get their first points of the night.
Just under 5 minutes to play in the half, as that is batted down once again by Ramirez. Second and 10 here. And the Bearcats' defensive front, they've found a lot of ways to make an impact in this game. Swatting passes, forcing pressure, and incompletions. Nearly forced an INT with the pressure, and, of course, the fumble recovery.
I think that's the 3rd swatted ball they've already had in this game as the Blue Devils take a timeout.
Blue Devils calling for time with 4:21 to go here in the first half, and we started about 26 minutes ago, and we really haven't stopped for much of anything. If you're the Blue Devils here, Jersey got the ball first. You score and go into the half down 19-6, 19-8, you never know.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't speak for a second, Joe, is I saw one of the Bearcats very frustrated in the middle of the field, but it looks like he's being calmed down at the moment. Maybe he would be taken off the field at this point, but nonetheless, a great opportunity for the Blue Devils to get some points on it. As you mentioned, you get points here, depending on how much time is left on the clock, you might have a chance going to halftime down 12 or 13, and then get the ball to start the second half. Now the Bearcats have to take a timeout because they were running a couple of defenders on and off the field, or turf, I should say.
It looked like there was a bit of confusion or disagreement regarding personnel. Now, was Jersey forced to take a timeout?
They did. They had to because they kept running people on and off, so they would have had either too many men on the field or not enough men on the field.
Well, this is our longest stoppage of the first half. That was a very odd sequence there.
Yeah, we saw number 7 coming off the field. Then he came back on, and then we saw another play going off the field, and the Bearcats said, you know what, we're going to have to take a timeout because we don't know what's going on right now.
Action set to resume, 4:21 on the clock, and the Blue Devils driving. They're out across midfield. 2nd down and 10 following the batted pass, incomplete. Pre-snap motion out of the slot. Throw that way is complete. And the Blue Devils are now inside the Bearcats' 10-yard line. The football came loose. Archer trying to say he has it. He's leaving with the football, but
that's a clear catch. But number 11, Joe, is down with an injury.
Play has been stopped here for the injury.
And I think even on that play, Joe, I don't know if you picked it up, but Blue Devils might have gotten away with a bit of a holding on that play on the left side of the offensive line. I saw a bit of a tagging of the jersey on Joey Ramirez, but was still a great throw to number 11. But as he caught the ball, it was Archer who made the tackle, and he got drilled on that play, came up with the football, but he was down by contact, giving the Blue Devils a closer opportunity to get a touchdown.
Here's another look at it, Nick, and I see that hold you were talking about. I'm shocked that throw even got over Ramirez.
Yeah, it was a slight tug of the right shoulder pad of Ramirez, and you mentioned it. He had a chance to swat another pass in this game and on this drive, but it was a nice throw with high elevation. But now the Blue Devils lose a player again, Joe, and now they're in a spot where you don't have enough players at the current moment.
Well, if you're the Blue Devils, that penalty seemed to turn this drive completely around for them.
It's a, sort of a spark to this offense since that happened.
You don't often like to cite another team's mistake as the catalyst for a drive, but you'll take whatever you can get. And so far, they've taken full advantage.
Fans clamoring for the clock to start.
We're under 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Once again, motion out of the slot. And pressure coming immediately. Quarterback forced to take off. Picks up about 4, maybe 5.
And that's an impressive 4 or 5 yards. Yeah, Joe, because once again, Ramirez was in the backfield. He had to run to the outside and get a little bit of some opportunity against some turf. And then he made a couple of juke moves to get back onto the inside and get him that 4 or 5 yards.
We're closing in on the final 3 minutes of the half. Now, we've seen it. It takes all of about 10 seconds to score. One big play is all it takes. But if you're the Blue Devils, are you taking your time here hoping for another chance? Or I should say, are you taking your time hoping that the Bearcats don't get a chance?
I knew what you meant. I know
exactly. Or are you hoping to get yourself another chance? I don't know if you can run enough clock to keep the ball away from Jersey, Nick.
You can't.
I think I'm going 2 for 1 here and trying to make sure I get one more chance.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think they would in that scenario, Joe, but because of where they are on the field, they realistically cannot do that.
Yeah. It's a throw on 2nd down. Time running out. And Ramirez can't bring down the quarterback. The pass is complete. And it's a gain of 4 into the boards and up the sideline. The Blue Devils continuing this drive deeper into Bearcats territory.
That was an unbelievable play, Joe, because again, Ramirez was in the backfield, pretty much had him wrapped up for the sack and was not able to make the play. And because of that, he found number 1 on the sideline, makes the catch, and gets all the way just short of that goal line. And it will bring up now 3rd and goal.
It's really tough to do this job without names, Nick.
I remember one of our first EFA games, we had a roster that wasn't fully complete, so we had to, unfortunately, do the same thing.
Well, the previously injured number 11 for the Blue Devils back into the game. That's good to see. The recipient on the biggest play of the game. It's a quarterback keeper on 3rd and goal. And a big hit shy of the goal line will make it 4th and goal from the 2.
Yeah, Yeah, tough play. And, Joe, we said earlier that it might be tough for the Blue Devils to run out the clock, give the Bearcats not an opportunity. We've now hit under a minute left in this first half. They've stopped the clock at 1 minute exactly, but Bearcats definitely have a chance to score with the time remaining, but Blue Devils have still been able to manage the clock in a way. But now you're in a spot where it's 4th and goal. It's all or nothing on this play. This is a play that they really need right now in this game.
What's the call, Nick?
I think it's going back into another quarterback keeper. He's been your best playmaker so far on both sides.
Maybe you try some motion out of the slot like the Bearcats did, fake that handoff, and then run that direction with the quarterback.
Yeah, maybe a read option with number 1.
It's so tough to throw it in
Low
from
snap.
here. It's a bad snap, and this drive will end without points.
He was trying to motion his receiver to run, and as that happened, it was a low snap, so it was dead on arrival, unfortunately, for the Blue Devils. And now the Bearcats, with the time winding down here in the first half, we'll see what they do, if they do anything here to end this first half.
Well, as broadcasters, we love the dramatics of a 4th down and goal.
Not much there.
The air was taken out of that one pretty quickly. But going back to what I was saying before the snap, Nick, I like what the Bearcats did at this end of the field when they had a goal-to-go opportunity, motion out of the slot, handoff to your wideout. Manny Stewart goes in untouched. Maybe if you try that as the Blue Devils and then don't hand it off, keep it with your quarterback, you can win that foot race to the corner on the far side. They were snapping from the left hash, so they had some extra room on the right side of the formation, and I thought maybe we'd see them look to take advantage of that.
I don't think we're going to have another play in this half, Joe. Clock continues to run.
The Bearcats taking a timeout.
I don't think so.
I thought they did, but
I think the
maybe
officials
not.
are calling a timeout to get the clock to a different time so the Bearcats can have a play. So it's not a Bearcats timeout, it's an official timeout to put some time on the board.
I think they're signaling 54 seconds.
Yeah, I think that the play was that obviously after that snap, the clock should have stopped at that point, and the Bearcats would have those 54 seconds to have one more drive, but the clock continued to run right afterwards.
To be fair, when the clock has started and when it has stopped has not been entirely consistent.
Right. It might be a thing for end of the half, so first half, and then we'll see at the end of this game as well. Bearcats, keep in mind, did use a timeout earlier to get some defensive subs in, so they will have one less timeout with the remaining time in this first half. Now, they still haven't added the time on the board. I think they're trying to do it right now.
Yeah, they're trying to get that sorted out.
That Daktronics board?
I don't believe so. If it was, you and I might be of some help, but they've gotten 50 seconds up on the clock. Bearcats take over at their own 4-yard line, leading 19-0. 50 seconds to go until halftime.
Do you think they run the ball here from this 4-yard line spot? Because it is tough to get any yardage through the air.
All right, they've started the clock as well, so we are running inside of 45 seconds.
We'll throw.
And they're looking to throw downfield as that one, once again, is dropped over the middle by Hubbard.
Hubbard right now not happy with himself. Dropped that touchdown earlier in this half, and then right there was wide open up the middle of the field, but just was not able to make the catch. As there's 38.5 to go in the half.
Second and 10, ball at the 4.
Clock is running.
I think they started it for 2 seconds and then stopped it, Nick.
Okay. 36.2 now.
Yeah, they ran 2 seconds off there and then stopped it again. Motion man, Mekill. Rodriguez throws him straight up into the netting. That ball dead once it contacts the netting, incomplete. Now, with how easy it is to put the ball into the netting, I almost find it hard to believe that you would ever take a sack if you're square and able to throw the ball into the netting. It's so low.
That's true. That is true.
The netting is just so low that you don't really have to throw toward a receiver. Never thought about it before, but it just came to mind. There's really no reason to ever take a sack here.
I think it's just, the old, football instincts. You would, don't want to take the sack, but sometimes you do. And this is a different type of style. You probably could just throw it up.
Yeah. It's a run here on third down. Well blocked. Ward across the 25.
He's still going.
And he's being helped forward. Look at this. Still going and finally brought down inside of the 15-yard line. The Bearcats have called timeout.
That is one of the more impressive offensive line plays we've seen maybe ever calling this team, Joe, because he was well behind. He was almost where the H is to protect the house in the middle of the field, and they kept pushing him all the way to inside the 15-yard line. An impressive run right there for Ward, an even more impressive job by this Bearcats offensive line.
Ward being willed forward. He had two big fellas in there helping to will him toward the end zone.
I think one of them was the 65 we talked about earlier that we don't have.
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to see the second number.
Well, I don't know if that's a 73 or a 78. We don't have either on our roster, so unfortunately, not much we could do there.
I think that's a 78.
Yeah, not on the roster. 16.7 to go, first half. Bearcats leading by 19. They fake the toss and throw a screen pass complete. Don't have a great sight line. I believe that was Stewart on the reception.
That was.
And indeed it was.
Bearcats now officially out of timeouts. Keep in mind, too, with that last play, Joe. So 10.5 left. These are going to be plays that have to get to the end zone. They can't realistically go for a dunk play right here, try to get something up the middle of the field to try to get the extra yardage. These next couple plays have to go to the end zone to try to get the touchdown.
A lot of trickery involved in that last play call. Defended well by the Blue Devils. They did not bite on the toss fake to the left. 10.5 seconds to go. Rodriguez throwing off balance, incomplete. Mekill, the intended target.
4.4 remaining. It'll be third down here for the Bearcats. And effectively, Joe, I feel like this is probably the final play of the half.
It is third down, and is it goal to go? It is not. It's third down in about 6.
Just about, yeah. It looks like they have to get to around the 4-yard line for the first down.
It might as well be third and goal, Nick, because they
have
one play.
It has to go to the end zone regardless.
Yep, they have one play to get it.
Question will be, who are they going to in the end zone to try to get this touchdown potentially?
Mekill deep in the offensive backfield, lined up in the slot. Once again, Rodriguez under center, flanked by Ward. And a whistle comes in. This play blown dead.
Timeout, Blue Devils.
Wise to get a look at what Jersey may have wanted to do there. Late timeout comes in from the CNY bench. What do you think they do, Nick? You think they motion out of the slot again and look to hit that crosser in the end zone?
I don't think they're going to do the exact type of play they tried to do earlier with Hubbard. I think they try to go something maybe towards that sideline on the other side of the field. Maybe try to go a zigzag route and try to get an opportunity to fool out these Blue Devils defenders and try to find something wide open to end the first half.
I think, Nick, you could probably catch them off guard. You motion out of the slot again, have that receiver plant his foot and break toward the far side. Because that crossing pattern has come from left to right. You plant that foot and make that move to the outside. It's a tight window with the slot receiver lined up on the left hash, but I think a good throw gets him open. That's exactly what they did, Nick. It was covered perfectly, and the throw the other way is caught for a Bearcats touchdown.
And look where it was, Joe. It was Hubbard. It's been a rough first half, but he makes the most of it. And keep in mind, too, on that play, Joe, it was a bobbled snap on that initial play. So the Bearcats got a big break right there. They were able to pick up the muff snap and get a pass to Hubbard for the touchdown.
We're going to get a look at it on replay here. And, Nick, they did exactly what I said. Motion, plant that foot, break to the outside. And you have to think, Nick, that the bobbled snap that you mentioned threw off the timing, didn't allow them to make that throw to the outside, but great recovery by Rodriguez. Hubbard aware, giving his quarterback somewhere to go with the football. He finds him for the Bearcats touchdown, and that will bring the first half to a close following what is going to be a 2-point try.
See if they get the ball to Ward on this play.
And he's fumbled
Yeah,
it.
he fumbled it
into the arms of the Blue Devils just shy of the goal line. So
he didn't really pick it up cleanly on the initial handoff.
That is all for the first half from the Waranenko Sports Center. Nick and I are going to stay with you for a few short moments and see if head coach A.J. Roque grabs the headset to join us. We also have had our Lady Bearcats spotlight during halftime, so we will see what the situation is going to be in regards to halftime guests. That being said, our score at the break, Jersey 25 and Central New York nothing. Coach is continuing
he's going to the locker room
to talk things over. Coach Roque headed to the locker room, it appears. And Nick, you know, the way that everyone was interacting,
I think I know where you're going with
it
this.
almost seemed like the game was over. But I don't think that's the case. So what we are going to do is stay with you for another minute or two. The clock is winding down toward the start of the third quarter. The Lady Bearcats are taking the field. So we will throw it down to the audio on field level for a halftime performance by the Lady Bearcats. At that time, we may have a couple of Lady Bearcats joining us. So we'll give them the time to perform, and then they might head over here.
Jersey Bearcats football is brought to you by Pino's Bakery. Located at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle, Pinos is your prime stop for specialty cakes, pastries, and deli delights. Always fresh and made to order, our family-owned shop prides itself on bringing our kitchen into your homes and your heart. Pinos is where family, tradition, and goodness are a daily thing. Visit us at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle or online at pinosbakery.net. Thank you to our friends at Pinos Bakery.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMed Bar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089-232-694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
Zollner Championship Rings is the official ring provider of the AAL, the AAL2, and your Jersey Bearcats. Zollner provides class with excellence and is the perfect way to showcase perfection on the field of play. See the incredible selection and touch of class at Zollner. Visit us at zchampionshiprings.com and see our competitive pricing. Give Director of Sales, Joseph Khalil, a call at 1-800-303-8548. Zollner, official ring provider of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Kessler Rehabilitation Center are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at Kessler-PT.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network for our halftime Lady Bearcats Spotlight. We're joined by Melissa down on field level. And Melissa, pregame, bit of a delay. The team, of course, always performs pregame. Does that delay affect you at all? Are you completely unfazed, always ready to go?
No, we were ready to go, especially because we did our signature dance, Welcome to the Jungle, which we've done a few times. So, it was just another day for us.
Regular season finale here at Waranenko coming up. Anything special we should expect for the final regular season game?
We are working on some new routines, so you guys will see that too.
You'll have to tune in or attend to catch that. Now, let's talk a bit about how you got into dance and how you became a part of the Lady Bearcats.
Right. So, I first started dancing at 6 years old, and I have asthma, so my mom wanted me to do a sport indoors. So that's how I got into dance. And I've been on a few teams, like all throughout high school, college, post-college. And then I found this team, and I'm liking it so far.
Bearcats and Lady Bearcats involved in a lot of initiatives outside of game day. Are any of those a favorite of yours, or what's your favorite part of being a part of the Lady Bearcats?
We did a lot of volunteering during the winter at the Children's Hospital, so we got to play games with some of the patients there and, interact with them. So that was a lot of fun.
Great work the Lady Bearcats do beyond their performances here on game day. Melissa, thank you for taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
That is our Lady Bearcats Spotlight. Melissa of the Lady Bearcats, kind enough to join us as we continue our halftime break. About 6:50 to go until the start of the third quarter here at Waranenko. We'll be back with quarter number 3. The Bearcats on top of the Blue Devils, 25-0.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calv wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen?
I'm so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work with me, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know Right.
The PDF Sports Network is officially seeking sponsors for the 2026 Vetera Liga season. The Vetera Liga is the top professional American football league in Finland, and now, for the first time, is available in the English language and in the U.S., courtesy of PDF. Join us as we make history by showcasing the Maple League to a new worldwide audience. Our partnership with the Vetera Liga was recently featured in International Business Journal as a groundbreaking venture that in 2025 earned us a Global Recognition Award and a GHP Magazine Award for Best Local Live Broadcasting in the nation. It's time to bring our coverage to the next level and showcase your products and business to local and international audiences. Show your support now by calling us at 732-723-8189 or by emailing pdfsportsnet@gmail.com.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
Jersey Bearcats football is brought to you by Pino's Bakery. Located at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle, Pino's is your prime stop for specialty cakes, pastries, and deli delights. Always fresh and made to order, our family-owned shop prides itself on bringing our kitchen into your homes and your heart. Pino's is where family, tradition, and goodness are a daily thing. Visit us at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle or online at pinosbakery.net. Thank you to our friends at Pino's Bakery.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMed Bar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089-232-694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
Zollner Championship Rings is the official ring provider of the AAL, the AAL2, and your Jersey Bearcats. Zollner provides class with excellence and is the perfect way to showcase perfection on the field of play. See the incredible selection and touch of class at Zollner. Visit us at zchampionship.rings.com and see our competitive pricing. Give Director of Sales, Joseph Khalil, a call at 1-800-303-8548. Zollner, official ring provider of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Kessler Rehabilitation Center are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at kessler-pt.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
Joe Foreman and Nicholas Pavona back with you here on the PDF Sports Network as we get set to begin the third quarter from the Waranenko Sports Arena. Jersey on top of Central New York, 25-0. They kept the clock running for most of that first half, Nick, and the Bearcats putting 25 up on the board, 6 coming in the closing seconds.
Yeah, I think, for the Bearcats, it's certainly in the first half that a lot of things went right for them, but I feel like there were still some things that they would like to fix from that first half. A couple of plays that were dropped on a couple of drops, but for Hubbard, who had a couple of them, had a big touchdown to end that first half.
Oh, boy. Big-time trouble for the Blue Devils, and I think they got on top of it. But you mentioned that onside attempt off of an up man, and Jersey drilled 0-0 with that kickoff.
We've seen that over the course of time, too, from Jersey a couple of times to start the second half.
Yeah, that was a bruising kickoff attempt. I don't know if the pads did much to help him out there.
Bruising certainly an interesting term to try to put that into terms, but we'll see what the Blue Devils do here, Joe. We saw at the end of that first half a very good drive going for them. Initially almost was upended because of an interception. It got negated because of a penalty, and they got down the field to within the 5-yard line, but they were not able to get a big score before the end of the first half, keeping them at this 25-0 deficit.
So the Blue Devils fortunate to come up with that football. It pinballed around between several bodies, but they get on top of it and will take over deep in Bearcats territory. Pre-snap motion near side, and a throw to the far side is dropped. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10. Here's another look at that play. And oftentimes when you have pre-snap motion, that does draw the defense toward that side of the field a bit. And that's how it worked out there. I think the Blue Devils got the look they wanted along the far side, and it was dropped.
Yeah, it was a, curl flat type of a play. It was a stop and stick and stay right there. But unfortunately, another drop in this game, this time coming on the side of the Blue Devils right there to make it 2nd and 10.
Once again, motion coming from the near side, this time out of the slot. That pass incomplete, and Stewart had a chance at a pick.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit behind him. That's the reason why he couldn't get the pick done, but a bit of an errant high throw right there by the Blue Devils quarterback, and could have led a potential pick 6 right there had it not been thrown behind Stewart right there on that play. Now it's 3rd down and 10.
Well, we saw the Blue Devils put together what was easily their best drive of the game late in that first half, and they came up about 2 yards short of points. Good starting field position on this drive. Threatens to be wasted if they can't make something happen on these next 2 downs. It's 3rd and 10. They'll look to throw. Perhaps they got away with a hold there, as that throw toward the end zone is too high, incomplete. And did you see it, Nick?
I did.
Left tackle?
I did.
Yeah, I thought that they probably got away with a hold there as these Tims applying some pressure.
And he's certainly provided a lot of pressure in this game. Him and Ramirez have been an unrelenting force on the outside for those 2 Blue Devils tackles.
Here's one more look at that last play. Maybe he let go in time. Maybe.
Yeah, just maybe. Well, for the Bearcats nonetheless, Joe, they're a stop away from forcing a turnover on downs once again after giving up the good field position to start the second half. Hear the Seattle play call right there from the Bearcat defense.
It is 4th down and 10. Ball has not moved from the Jersey 16-yard line on this drive. And
flag. Delay of game.
Delay of game is called. Well, I say it all the time, Nick. Extra room, does it help you here?
Yeah, sometimes it does, especially in the Arena League. You don't see it normally in a regular, high school, collegiate, professional, NFL, whatever it is. type of game you don't want to give up those yards. But in the arena, I would think so, because you saw that last throw, it hit off of the board. So we'll see what happens here now on 4th and 15.
Motion out of the slot. It's a 4th down throw. Downfield and caught off the dropped interception for a Blue Devils touchdown. Stewart had it hit off his hands, and waiting right over his shoulder was the previously injured number 11.
And how about this, Joe, considering how that play could have turned? It went from almost a pick on the fingertips of Stewart into the receiving arms of number 11 for the touchdown. You get a second look of it right there. Right place, right time. And unfortunately for the Blue Devils, Joe, this could have made it a little bit more interesting had they not given up the touchdown to end the first half, and had they gotten the touchdown to end that first half as well.
Yeah, that failure to score before halftime now looming much larger. And taking a look at that replay, Nick, I'm not sure it was Stewart who had it hit off his hands. He was in the area. We'll get one more look at it following this conversion attempt. Time running out here. And
the flag.
A flag came in.
Is that horse collar maybe?
Yeah, Joe is telling me horse collar. Yeah, that's the call. Half the distance, and now an opportunity from the 1.
Yeah,
While we have a break, Joe, let's get one more look at that touchdown.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to see who it was that had a potential for the pick.
Yeah.
We have some time here.
We have some time.
We're trying to look on the field right now.
Stewart had the coverage on the touchdown score as they'll run a quarterback keeper here. And Jersey with a big-time stand from the 1 on that 2-point try. That keeps it a 19-point game.
And I believe that was Dominic Williams who got the second half of that tackle, because initially the first point of contact looked like the quarterback was going to be able to run it in. If Williams was not there to make the second effort and get both defenders on that tackle, I think they might have had the 2-point conversion right there.
Ultimately, there's not too much of a difference between 17 and 19. Either way, it's probably 3 scores. It is 3 scores, but you got to keep in mind, too, now I don't see the golden football on either bench. Typically, that would be in play. However, with the clock running in this game, I don't know if they're going to utilize that golden football tonight. I'm not sure if that's in play.
A very interesting interaction on the field.
Yeah.
See about that?
I saw you eyeballing that.
Yeah, I was a bit perplexed.
We are beyond the midway point here in the third quarter. Clock winding down towards 7 minutes to go in quarter number 3.
The Bearcats are still trying to get some people on here for the kickoff team. A couple of late substitutions.
Whistle finally comes in. Kickoff on the way from the Blue Devils. It's a line drive off the fingertips of Meekill and scooped up by Stewart, who is brought down across the 20-yard line. That is where the Bearcats will get started. Jersey leading by 19 and looking for more on what surprisingly, Nick, is their first drive of the second half, over 8.5 minutes into the third quarter.
Yeah, those first couple plays for the Blue Devils took a little bit of time, and then they got the big play on 4th down after the flag. And you and I talked about it. Was that what the extra yardage helped them in that spot? They might have gotten some help as well from the Bearcat defenders on that play, but it certainly did play a factor.
Timeout called by Jersey.
And you can see it, Joe. There is a lot of confusion right now going towards the Bearcats side. And I know if we get a chance to talk to A.J. Roque again, either tonight or next week, this will certainly be something that's got to be frustrating, because there's been a lot of problems for the Bearcats in this game in terms of trying to figure out what's going on with their substitutions on both sides of the ball.
And I think when your primary issue is personnel related, it's a bit unusual. You don't see it very often where there's excessive confusion regarding who's going to be on the field. But we've seen it a couple of times now. All right, it appears the confusion has been sorted out. The clock stopped at 5:36. We've seen a lot of Joey Ward tonight. It's Nas Adams in the backfield again. Rodriguez under center, sending Meekill in motion. It's a toss to Adams, who almost fumbled the ball, and he lowers his shoulder as he slammed into the boards. Forced out 13.
Yeah, that was almost a disaster right there on that run by Adams. You mentioned almost lost the ball on that toss, and then he took a big shot up on the boards right there, but does get a Bearcats first down.
Adams, a very punishing runner, lowers his shoulder, not afraid of big-time contact in the second level, or at the line of scrimmage for that matter. And
correction, I meant second down, not first down.
Yeah, they're about 4 yards short.
Yeah.
Call it second and a long 3.
Sure.
I think it's closer to 3 than 4. Throw to the end zone. Meekill's got it. The over-the-shoulder grab on a perfect ball from Mateo Rodriguez. It's a Bearcats touchdown, and Jersey is in front 31-6.
I'd be curious to see the look at the replay, Joe. It almost looked like he made sure that he used the helmet to make sure he could come down with that ball, because it looked like he was going to bobble it for a second, and maybe he used the helmet to make sure that that catch was fully made.
We're getting a look at it now. I think you're right, Nick. Over the shoulder, he took it with palms and pressed it against the helmet.
Not quite the David Tyree catch, but
not quite.
It will certainly help sometimes when you see a player do that on the NFL level. Maybe you want to do it yourself, and you saw right there using the helmet for a little bit to make sure he comes down with a touchdown grab.
Hernandez pies on for the PAT. And that one is good.
That was a line drive.
Nick, to me, it's so unusual that you have to account for keeping the ball low enough so that kicked from, I'd say, 85% of the way across the goal line, and then look to kick it on a low line toward the opposite sideline. That one didn't travel very far. It's a big run back for the Blue Devils, and very nearly points. That's a good tackle there in the open field by Dominic Williams.
And, Joe, I pointed this out earlier for their kickoffs. I see what they've been trying to do a couple of times already. It seems as if they look for a certain player on the field. Sometimes it was the back-end runners on the return. That time they were kicking it directly towards number 1, and they were trying to get a hit deflection that can maybe go all the way back towards the end zone to force a bad kickoff return. But instead, it allowed the Blue Devils this time around to get good field positioning.
Blue Devils take over at the Bearcats' 16-yard line, 1st and 10. To begin the drive from there as we approach 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. We will stay with you during the break between quarters, let you know about another one of our great sponsors of Jersey Bearcats Arena Football. Motion from the near side, time running out to throw, And an open man on the goal line makes the catch and fumbles the football. It's scooped up by the Bearcats. Williams reversing field on the run back, breaks a tackle. He's across the 20, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Bearcats. Wow.
Wow's an understatement, Joe, but we got to give credit to the man that made the play before that to force the fumble on that one. That was the reason the ball came out, because it would have been a touchdown. Gavin Bunt absolutely drilled the receiver on that play and forced the ball out, and then it was Williams on the other end with the scoop and score. And how about the play by Williams to get around to get that touchdown?
Certainly one of our defensive plays of the year right here. It was a breakdown in coverage at first. A great ball as well. The hit by Bunt, the scoop by Williams, and then long after that scoop came the score. Broken tackle, accelerate upfield, make one more man miss. How about another? And the convoy leads him to the end zone for a Jersey touchdown.
All around great sequence right there for Jersey as they've now opened this game.
PAT on the way. That is perfect. And the lead for Jersey grows. The Bearcats in front, 39-6.
Impressive play right there for the Bearcats. It started off badly right there, leaving the receiver wide open, but Bunt forced the ball out, and then Williams got all the way back for the scoop and score. So a great all-around sequence for Jersey. Almost ended in another touchdown for the Blue Devils, and instead it ends up in a touchdown for the Bearcats.
We've seen a lot of big plays on the ground for Jersey offensively. Meekhill, of course, on the receiving end of that touchdown on the possession to begin the second half for Jersey, their first offensive possession. They had the late touchdown through the air in the first half as well. Ground game check, passing game check, and now add a touchdown on defense as well. The defense, once again, has been strong in this game. Bit of an unorthodox score for the Blue Devils, but I don't think that takes too much away from what the Bearcats have done defensively in this game, though. I think if you ask this team, they want that 0.
And let's keep in mind, Joe, too, for the Blue Devils, I'll make the point in a second after the kickoff.
Players playing both sides of the ball, Nick. I think that's where you were going?
No.
No? Okay.
Keep in
We're full
mind,
of surprises.
Keep in mind for the Blue Devils, they've had 2 different opportunities where they've gotten inside of the 5-yard line to get a touchdown in this game. That is right there, at least 12 points that have been taken off the board because of one turnover on downs and that fumble right there before the goal line.
That's a good point you make, Nick. Opportunities have been there for the Blue Devils as we are now inside of a minute to play in the third quarter. The Bearcats, I would presume, will have to run one play. We'll see. I think it's going to be a one and done for the third quarter.
Yeah, expect a handoff right here to probably get it, but we'll see. The Blue Devils really haven't been running the ball today outside of their quarterback making a play, so we'll see if they attempt a pass or a run here. I would expect maybe a pass. The passing game has been working the last couple plays. They just unfortunately have not been able to get any points outside their lone touchdown. Another low snap.
Well, I'm asking if the Bearcats had to run a play. Of course, you know I meant the Blue Devils. You knew.
A low snap again. Once again, it was Ramirez in the backfield, able to take advantage of that one and trying to tell the clock operator to run the clock. We'll see if the Blue Devils do run another play, but I would tend to think they will. Just that little stoppage probably helped, but you don't really want to end the quarter on a low snap sack.
Under 25 seconds to go in the quarter. Pre-snap motion out of the slot. And a throw downfield once again. Broken up.
Man. Bearcats got away with a pass interference on that play too, Joe.
Stewart on the coverage.
There was a lot of tugging of the jersey. I'm not sure how the referees did not pick that one up.
I'm not sure how you saw it through the bench.
I think you'll even see it here on the middle of the field, not the intended receiver. You'll see it right there, the tugging of the jersey.
Yes.
That was clear as day.
Okay, that's how you saw it, because it wasn't on the outside.
Yeah. It wasn't for the intended receiver, but the man that was running in the middle of the field was completely tugged by the jersey. And no penalty there. That's the end of the third quarter.
And with our break between the third quarter and the fourth quarter, we would like to let you know that these broadcasts are sponsored by CMXI MedBar in Long Branch. You've seen their commercials. Located in the heart of Long Branch, CMXI MedBar is a luxury medical wellness destination designed to help you recharge, recover, and perform at your best, offering services like IV hydration therapy, vitamin injections, and advanced recovery treatments in a relaxed spa-like setting. Led by Dr. Angela Roque, CMXI blends clinical expertise with a modern wellness experience, catering to athletes, busy professionals, and anyone looking to boost energy, enhance recovery, and support overall health with personalized, medically guided care. Visit them at cmximedbar.com or call 908-923-2694. Thank you to our friends at CMXI. Meanwhile, once again between quarters, the Lady Bearcats are performing as well. 15 minutes on the clock, and that will bring us to a conclusion in this one, Nick. The Bearcats with a big lead. What have you liked that you've seen from Jersey tonight? What do they need to do to carry this momentum forward to next week?
I think what I first off have liked on the defensive side is the consistent pressure. I keep mentioning it all night, but they have been in the backfield pretty much every single drop back from the Blue Devils in this game. They really have given them not much time to make a play, and if they have made a play, it's because of their quarterback creating a play with using his legs. So on the defensive side, you have to love that. I think on the offensive side, what I really have liked the most is the running game, which has been very consistent, but their offensive line has really been strong in this game. We talked to Shea Roberts earlier, and he said that this offensive line has been firing on all cylinders right now, considering what happened a couple weeks ago against Tri-State. But you also have to look at, despite them not playing the last 2 weeks, they're keeping the same mentality and the same mindset coming into this game, and now they need to keep that same mentality and mindset going into their final couple games of the regular season.
Final 15 minutes from the Waranenko Sports Arena. Pre-snap motion across the formation this time. Trips to the right. Throw that way. Downfield is...
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
It's the Golden Tate play right there. It's a touchdown.
A touchdown! Wow.
That would look eerily similar to the Golden Tate play
I thought Wembley had it.
I thought so, too. And instead, it's a touchdown for the Blue Devils. Incredible.
Talk about strong hands, Nick. I think that ball was wrestled away.
And it was
from
again,
Wembley.
And it was number 11 again, who had that who got injured earlier and had the touchdown as well.
I think when they reached the ground, Nick, that was intercepted, and I think the contact with the turf jarred it loose enough.
And that has created such controversy over the last few years. Is it a catch? Is it an interception? We saw that in the NFL playoffs last year with the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos, where what do you really call that play in a 50-50 ball? That one called a touchdown and a big play for the Blue Devils to kickstart the fourth quarter.
For what my opinion's worth, they got that call right
in
the Bills-Broncos game. Not everyone agreed.
Not the Golden Tate play, though.
2-point conversion, a pass attempt incomplete toward the back of the end zone. And it will stay 39-12, but the Blue Devils had a bit of what some might call a fluke touchdown earlier off the dropped interception, finds a receiver, but they earned that one.
They certainly did. They earned every bit of it as we get a look at the 2-point conversion right there that was unsuccessful. It's now 39-12 with that last score, but you have to like what the Blue Devils have done in this game, Joe, still on the offensive side. Early on in this game, they were having a lot of trouble on the pre-snap and trying to get any type of traction going. They couldn't even throw a ball past the line of scrimmage to start this game. And since then, they've gotten good protection. Their quarterback has been able to make plays with his legs, and he's also made some pretty strong throws in this game as well. And number 11 with a great touchdown reception right there, his second touchdown of the night. But unfortunately, those missed points that they had earlier keep them in a 27-point deficit.
For a team filled with players, many of whom have played on both sides of the ball, it's been a valiant effort tonight by the Blue Devils. And you said it before, Nick, if they converted a bit more often on goal to go inside of the 5, this could be bit of a different game.
It's going to be a 39-24 game at the very least if they get those 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we also don't know if the Bearcats would have had enough time to get the touchdown at the end of the half. That's also something that really hurt the Blue Devils in this game, giving up that score to end the first half.
Clock currently stopped, just over 13 minutes to play in the half, as that one is scooped up along the sideline. And you saw on that play Meekill throwing up his arms to signal touchdown, but they do bring down Jacquin Wembley inside of the 15. So the Bearcats will start this drive in good field position. Their lead 27 points, the clock running inside of 13 minutes to play.
Yeah, even though things have gone right for the Bearcats in this game, Joe, I'm sure that they're still going to want to try to fix a lot of the things that have happened in this game. And one of the biggest things is probably on the defensive side. The secondary has had a couple of mental lapses so far in the second half especially. So they need to fix that because you have a couple big upcoming games to end this season with Mississippi and Columbus right after that. So need to make sure you can fix those mistakes in the final games of the regular season. So a lot of studying of the game film coming up tonight in the next couple of days for this Bearcats team. But on the offensive side of things, you really can't be upset with what they've done so far for the most part.
Certainly not. The bake sale has made its way into the stands, Nick.
Thought about it. Thought about it for a second.
Pre-snap motion man Meekill. Short throw his way, complete. Reaching for the goal line. He is just short.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he just missed that end zone right there. They're going to mark him just at the half-inch mark before the end zone. It'll be 2nd and goal. And we have another injury timeout for the Blue Devils as well. And, Joe, I think it's a number 11 again. It is. He was the one that made the tackle on the play.
It's been a difficult evening for him in terms of taking punishment on both sides of the ball. Tough to make out exactly what the issue might be from here.
He did make the tackle, and I'm not sure if he landed awkwardly on his chest, if something happened of that nature. Not entirely sure. You mentioned it earlier, having to play both sides of the ball can lead to a lot of things, especially in warm weather. But we'll see what happens here in the next couple of moments.
Here's another look at it. Don't know. All I can think of is the way that he went down to the turf without being able to brace his fall. He landed sternum first.
Yeah. It's nothing with, I think it's more of maybe he got the wind knocked out of him or something like that.
Could be. You land on the wrong part of your torso and the wind just gets knocked out of you. But slowly he'll make his way to the Blue Devils bench. And when this drive resumes, which is going to be right here, the clock will begin running at 11:15. The clock operator
was a little preoccupied.
Yeah, but I was listening to the music selection from DJ Sparks.
Yeah.
A little bit of Let's Go Knicks.
Yeah, I did hear that.
That's what I like to hear.
Good vibes all around the tri-state area.
Adams trying to power his way in, and he is in standing with a touchdown.
Call that bully ball right there with that type of a run?
Perhaps. It's not often you get to say the back is in standing with a touchdown.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're getting ready for that 10U baseball, 10U softball, and of course the 12 and under state championship in New York.
Yeah, it'll be a great time next month towards the end of July, but be a very busy couple of, I should say, I guess it's almost just a little bit under 2 weeks for you and I, as well as the rest of our crew here in PDF.
And speaking of the Knicks, for our diehard Knicks fans, you heard it here first. Those who registered.
Oh, you're doing it, huh?
Those who registered can purchase NBA final tickets tomorrow morning, as the PAT is good. You know what I always say, Nick? It's all about who you know.
That's true.
And you know a guy who has the inside scoop. NBA Finals tickets for the Chase Fan First members tomorrow at 10. And then for the MSG Fan First members tomorrow at 2.
They're just a bit out of my price range right now, unfortunately.
If you didn't sign up, it doesn't matter what your price range is.
Really?
You're not getting in. There is no general public on sale for the NBA Finals. How insane is that?
That is kind of insane, yeah.
But I will tell you, for Fan First, you have to go through a strict identity verification process.
You might need to send me the link, worst case. I should have been on this years ago.
Yeah, you should be.
I've gone to so many St. John's and Knicks games over the years, I probably should have been on it to begin with.
Normally, I don't need it because I have season tickets.
All right.
But when you get a chance to purchase a single seat to the NBA Finals, you don't say no.
Well, I spoke to you about the Chase Lounge now that you have.
Oh, I signed up. I'm ready.
Do you have it for tomorrow or Monday?
I think it opens up 10 a.m. Monday morning.
Okay. Got to be very quick, though, because it goes out pretty quick.
Yeah, well, I'll have to get the bot on it. Don't tell anybody.
You just told a lot of people, though.
That kickoff scooped up just shy of the goal line. A couple of nifty moves there to bring that return out to the 15 by the return man wearing number 3. Under 10 minutes to go, Jersey in front, 46-12. Well, Nick, the fans beginning to show off the dance moves.
I mean, you can see it on the screen.
That is true. Just barely. Bottom right corner.
Oh, he's bobbing. He's weaving.
Anthony, the new star of the show.
He's a big fan of Shaggy, I guess.
Oh, man, now the Lady Bearcats are getting in on
And
it.
I guarantee you...
Don't encourage him.
And I guarantee you had no idea who was saying this song until I just said it.
If Anthony hurts himself dancing, we might not have a PA announcer on Staten Island next year.
Did you just see what he did?
I did not.
He went to the microphone. He actually said the lyrics. He said it wasn't me. He said it over the PA. I swear. I promise. I wouldn't lie about that.
Just a beacon of energy. And remember what I said about never taking a sack, Nick? There you go.
He threw it out of what?
There was no one in the area.
No.
And I think he was in the tackle box.
Yeah. There's been a couple of PIs and holdings that have been called, so, they're letting them play. It's like last night with the Knicks. A lot of calls were made against the Spurs, and the Knicks, unfortunately,
when
got a lot of the calls against them.
When Anunoby went to the line at the end of the game and they said these are the first Knick free throws,
I
said, excuse me?
I believed it, too. That was the worst part. It's like, yeah, you know what? That sounds about right.
All I'll say is that when Jalen Brunson hit his final free throw to get to 20 points, I was a very happy man.
You know what the sad part was? I knew he was going to miss the second one, too. I said, you know what? Knowing our luck, he's going to miss the second. It's going to make this too much interesting.
It's okay. They hung on, all forgotten.
Like I said, 99 times out of 100, that shot goes in. Some reason, it's not going in this time. Let's keep it that way.
Pre-snap motion and a handoff on the sweep. Broken tackle. Wow. And the ball carrier still going back to the line of scrimmage and no further.
Now, I mentioned you earlier, I don't know if it is necessarily him, number one. I won't say who it is. Looked eerily similar to one of the Bearcat players. Yeah, I won't say if he is or not.
I have to admit, Nick, when I'm not here every week, it's much harder for me to put faces to the names.
Yeah.
When they're not in uniform and I'm not here every week, I can't do it.
He did get a bear hug earlier from one of the Bearcats, so that makes me almost tend to believe it might be the case.
We call so many games. I would say 3 years ago I would have been able to do it. I could put faces to the names 3 years ago. I have a lot more gray hair now, Nick.
Not too far behind you.
.6:45 to go, fourth quarter. Big lead for the Bearcats, 3rd and 10 Blue Devils. Fake handoff and a quarterback keeper, and a slide to avoid the big hit.
It was funny. Last night I went to watch the game at a bar, and they were checking everybody's ID, but I was never checked, so I felt a little bit older not getting checked.
All right, Unc.
I think the beard is not helping, but it's a playoff beard. I can't shave it yet until it's over.
Well,
once the playoffs end, then
I can grow the playoff goatee.
Yeah, that works.
I have a killer goatee, full connection, but The jaw just doesn't want to grow. Though I must say, as I'm getting older, it's getting much thicker, the facial hair. I mean, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I couldn't grow anything.
There were days where I went to high school, I would have a little bit of a stubble, and the principal would be like, you gotta shave that. And he would give me a razor and some shaving cream. I'd have to go to the bathroom and shave before going to class, so I would miss a couple minutes of class because of it.
Well, I missed class for a different reason.
We're a little bit tardy here.
A little bit. Big time pressure on 4th down, but a running lane opens, and that will not be enough, as I think one of the Bearcats was rolled up on. That's Stewart.
That's not good considering how late in the season this is, Joe. Can't have an injury like that happen. And you can hear he is
he's in a lot of pain, and you hope it's a sprain and nothing more, but
you sometimes see when plays like that are made, you get the roll up of the ankle, the lower leg, and that's a really tough one right there.
I think a roll up over the ankle would be a good outcome.
But you can see he's just in a lot of pain right now. Trying to get the trainer to check in on him.
That stops the clock at 5:28.
Good sight is that he is now
He's back
up,
on his feet,
but you can see he is limping a little bit and gingerly walking towards the sideline.
So news just broke.
I saw that earlier.
That Mitchell Robinson's technical foul.
That was stupid. That was so
has
stupid.
Been revoked.
It was one of the softest things I've seen.
I've never seen anyone more excited over the rescinding of a technical foul than Joe is.
Because because you never know, they could fine or suspend him sometimes when stuff like that happens, which is stupid nonetheless. They should not.
It was a very bad call. It should have been either a no call or a technical foul on Wembanyama.
I know, and there was a play later in the game where I think Wemby had a play where he clotheslined Alvarado, and they just never picked it up, and they were like, "Oh, it's all right. Doesn't mean anything."
Now, my question for you is: was there another technical foul in that game?
Yeah,
there was.
The Knicks got two in a matter of succession.
Okay.
Hart got the technical after
that wasn't a technical; it was a flagrant.
All right, so regardless, he got extra free throws.
Yeah.
And they got the ball, and then the technical happened.
I'll show you why I'm asking in a moment, as Ward has a massive lane and another Bearcats touchdown.
Made it look too easy on that play. How about the offensive line this game?
I was about to say, this Bearcats offensive line has been phenomenal.
Good thing we highlighted that in our pregame coverage with Shane Roberts.
We sure did. Bearcats went for two previously and will line up for the PAT here.
We'll see if they start dancing towards that. I see. I did not know you could do that.
Under 4 minutes to go. Extra point on the way. And that one is good off the netting, down and through. Jersey 53, Central New York 12.
I was not going to say there'd be any more dancing on this next upcoming song.
It looks like they're trying to encourage Anthony. Our great public address announcer here at Waranenko, also a PA announcer where you and I are the play-by-play and color voices at the College of Staten Island. Getting tongue-tied tonight, Nick.
Could happen sometimes. Warm weather, long day. That happens to the best of us.
It's been quite the week with the Knicks in the finals, I must say.
Yeah.
It's going to get a lot more exciting come Monday. And potentially an all-timer Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough to get at MSG this upcoming week, but it should be fun.
Yeah, it's a good thing I don't have to go on the street. Straight down into the train station, get out of there.
Yeah.
Probably drive in Monday, and then if Wednesday's a potential clincher, we're not doing that.
Yeah, train all the way.
Yeah. .346 to go. Bearcats will kick off. Line drive from one corner to the other. It lands in the end zone. I thought maybe it hit the glass, but they rule no. And a run back up the sideline goes for a decent return out to the 15.
Down goes one of the paddings on that board over there. But we'll see. This will be the last drive of the game for the Blue Devils. And while the score does look a little bit out of hand for this Blue Devils team, Joe, they put up a good fight in this game despite the amount of players they've had in this game. Offensively, they've looked strong. Unfortunately, a couple of missed plays on the offensive side have left points off the board, and they really just have not been able to stop this Bearcats running game.
We've seen a lot of Bearcats football here at Waranenko now the last 4 seasons. Time really flies, Nick. But we've seen a lot of Bearcats football and a lot of good running football. We have not ever seen holes open up like what this offensive line has opened up tonight.
Yeah. Offensive linemen don't get enough credit for what they do for every team's offense and every single, facet of football. But they are the true warriors of making the offense look like a well-oiled machine.
It's a throw on first down. Time running out. And indeed it does. 4 Bearcats in on the tackle. And got to be careful on a play like that. You get crumpled up beneath 4 defenders. And that's a long trip home if you're beaten up even further.
Yeah, I know that drive towards Syracuse in the Buffalo upper state region. It's a very long drive. Very long drive.
Fortunately, I don't think the trip back is that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you try and change directions and get tackled as you're doing so. That is where things get dangerous.
I've done this trip to Syracuse in a very long time, but I do that sometimes. Go watch the basketball team. No longer a fan of, well, somewhat of a fan, but not a full-on fledged fan anymore.
Your allegiance with the Johnnies?
Yeah, have to now. I think it's different because, like, once you go to the college, you have, you become accumulated with that stuff. But back in the day, they weren't really that great when I was rooting for Syracuse.
So you're a front runner.
No, because my first year they won 9 games, so they were really bad. I've seen the bad teams.
Bit of a high snap and a handoff here with just over a minute to go. High effort run there, and ball carrier never actually went down, but they blow it dead, and that will bring up 3rd down. But I, as you know, Nick, am a high-level member with Fanatics, and they sent me a survey asking what are some events that are on my bucket list. So you have to put the Super Bowl. I've never been to a Super Bowl. I have the Knicks season tickets and the Rangers, so I don't have to worry about the Stanley Cup or the NBA Finals. So I put the Super Bowl, I put the Final Four, and then I put WrestleMania. If they want to send me to WrestleMania for free, I'll take it.
Oh, you've been there. That was your first one, right? The one we went to?
Yes. First and only. Low snap, fumbled, recovered by Joey Ramirez, and I think that's going to do it.
Yeah, it should.
Now,
Ramirez has had a tremendous game defensively.
Theoretically, they do have to run a play.
The question is, will they take a knee?
Well, you can't, theoretically, based on the rules, letter of the law, you can't take a knee. Fans voicing
the displeasure,
their opinion.
They want that clock run. I do have a St. John's game I got to watch it. That's probably going on right now. Their baseball teams, the Super Regionals.
Okay.
One of the final 16 teams left.
Will the Bearcats tack on here? What do you think?
I think so.
Think so?
I think the way they've been running the football, I would think so.
They're putting a minute back on the clock.
Yeah, the Blue Devils will call a timeout regardless.
Were they a man short? Yes, they were.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they'll probably hand the ball off once again on this spot, and it will probably be Ward that gets the ball. And with the way the offensive line has provided protection in this game, you would tend to think he's going to have an opportunity to score.
You have Ramirez on the offensive line here as well.
Do you do a trick play with Ramirez, maybe?
Has he been at right tackle the whole game?
No, he has not.
Okay, thought so. Pre-snap motion man, Mekill. Snap
Ball's on
is
the ground.
fumbled. It is loose.
Wow.
Rodriguez finds it. And did he get in? Yes, he did. How did he turn that into 6, Nick?
I don't think that's the prototypical fumble Ruski that we see in the collegiate level, but a broken play sometimes works, and he found his way into the end zone for a very unconventional touchdown.
I don't think that's how they drew it up, Nick.
No.
I can't believe he had enough room.
A tough play for number one on the other side of things because he was backpedaling with the ball right next to him.
Wow. He turned it upfield and effectively hit 2 Blue Devils defenders like a bumper in bowling. Just ricocheted off of 2 defenders and across the goal line. They kept him from contacting the board.
The old 7-10 split?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what you call it, but you can call it 6 points. PAT, no good, wide right. Clock stopped with 5.6 to go.
That'll give the Bearcats an opportunity for 60 points in this game. Finish at 59.
Now, if you're giving me your expectations, I don't know if Coach Roque is going to grab the headset post-game, but if he does, what do you expect are his takeaways from this game?
I would say he would be mostly happy, but I think he's going to be a little bit frustrated with the defense in this game because there were a lot of bad plays on the secondary. While albeit it was a good defensive game, there were some mental lapses in the coverage of this game for the Bearcats. So I'm sure he's going to want to fix that before their next game next week.
So the Bearcats win it, 59-12. We will wait and see if Coach Roque grabs the headset or not. And then we will instruct him on potential players of the game if he does join us. So who would you say, Nick, for player of the game? Defensively,
well,
you could go Ramirez, you could go
tough.
Timms.
It's Ramirez or Timms. I think I lean a little bit towards Ramirez. And on the offensive side of things, I think it has to be Joey Ward. But you could make the case that the entire offensive line maybe deserves the player of the game for the way that they gave Ward a lot of protection
I
to
would
run.
say if you could give the game ball to a unit in this one, you could certainly make the case for the offensive line.
Yeah.
Certainly. But we'll give Coach Roque a few moments to perhaps grab the headset. But, Nick, what are your takeaways from this one as we head into the championship rematch of last year's AAL2 title game next week?
Well, ever since that loss a couple of weeks back for this Bearcats team, they have been red hot. 87 points in the game against Tri-State. They now put up 59 points here tonight in this game against CNY. So they're looking strong these last 2 weeks in terms of gameplay. But now they got to figure out a way to keep that going into the game next week. Of course, the championship game rematch. They've already beaten this Wolfpack team already so far this season. Can they do it again, go 2-0? And then, after that, Joe, a huge game with Columbus to end the season. And for the Bearcats still not technically mathematically eliminated from hosting a playoff game right back here in Waranenko.
We will see if that possibility remains through next week. I would think it probably should if the Bearcats win. In fact, I think that's a mathematical certainty that they'll have that opportunity to host should they win next week. However, you also have the question of whether or not that game against Wheeling gets made up. If not, then it would be much tougher.
Right.
And it looks like Coach Roque is headed toward the headset here. Let's see if he grabs it. And indeed he will. Head coach A.J. Roque putting on the headset to join us momentarily, trying to navigate his way around the padding.
A lot of padding, a lot of wiring.
Yeah, a lot of padding and wiring. Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us. Another decisive win. What are your takeaways from this one?
It was a lot from start to now, but it was ugly, right? We got to go back to being able to take a snap. We got to do that fast. That's really all I got, honestly.
And, AJ, talk to me about what your offensive line did here tonight. I felt like this was probably the most impressive performance we've seen from your offensive line tonight. I felt like Joey Ward, a bunch of times in this game, just had wide open lanes and was able to get very much untouched going towards the end zone.
Yeah, he definitely hit holes. O-line definitely moved people tonight. But, you know, it was expected, right? We got to be able to do this next week, right? And on the 20th, right, to be satisfied.
Mississippi coming in here next week.
Oh,
of course, you faced them already this year, but you're nodding, you're smiling. Still a bit of residual memory from last year. You want to get the game next week?
Yes.
A bit more?
Yes.
All right.
We went down there earlier this year, second game of the season. It was 42-8, I think we won. But, right, they're coming back up here where they beat us, right, in those last few seconds here. So, that still hurts, right? Still burns because it was here. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that one for sure.
And how much extra motivation does that give you, not only you, but the rest of your team going into a game like that next week, trying to get the win and keep yourselves alive for potentially coming back here in the playoffs for a home playoff game?
Just got to win first, right? We win, and then we go to Columbus and, do the same thing. And, right, we just don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
All right, Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us, and congrats on the win tonight. Bearcats knock off the Blue Devils 59-12.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, guys, as usual.
Thank you. That is Bearcats head coach A.J. Roque, kind enough to join us post-game. The Bearcats with a big 47-point win over the CNY Blue Devils. And, Nick, we mentioned it. The Blue Devils came in shorthanded, but you have to respect what they did tonight. They went out there with most of their roster playing both sides of the ball, and this was a respectable score up until maybe the last 8 minutes of the game or so.
Yeah, the score doesn't really do much justice for how the Blue Devils played in this game tonight. They gave it their all, and there was a couple plays where they could have gotten a couple points on the board, and that I really feel like, Joe, that swing at the end of the first half was really the difference maker in this game. Not scoring the touchdown on one side and then allowing the touchdown on the final play of the half. That was pretty much the dagger right there before we got into the second half.
All right, Nick, for you and I, it is 1 week off before we return back to Waranenko next weekend. Bearcats take on the Mississippi Wolfpack here at the Waranenko Sports Arena in a rematch of last year's AAL2 championship. But until then, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Nicholas Bavona, our engineer Joe Calabrese, our camera operator Pat Gilorenzo, and our final score, Jersey 59 and CNY 12. Bearcats back in action here in Roselle next weekend. You can catch that here on the PDF Sports Network. We return to our 6 p.m. start next weekend. So an earlier start. And, Nick, hopefully, if it goes that far, maybe an earlier finish to catch the next game of the NBA Finals. We hope it certainly doesn't go that deep. But for those Knicks fans watching, enjoy the finals and be sure to join us back here on PDF for the Bearcats next week, as well as the Vetera Liga tomorrow morning at 11. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night.